What's up, Level Uppers? Welcome to the Level Up Show, episode 298. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm one of your co-hosts, Andrew. I make the show Midori, and I'm joined tonight by the tech guru, Agent Vincent 4756.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So it could be a little bit of a rough show tonight. We're gonna have some technical glitches. I know already. You guys could probably hear it in the audio, stuttering and all that. My computer is just unbelievably overloaded right now. OBS, for some reason, is sucking up resources. No matter what I do, I probably need a full computer restart. But we're gonna suffer through it tonight.
Suffer now.
I feel like I can say that because I turned off audio hooks.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm okay. We're going to suffer through it. So yeah, there might be some technical hitches, but hopefully we can make it through this because it's going to be a good show. We got a great show tonight. We got a lot to discuss. Xbox Series S, PS5 on the horizon, officially confirmed for a new showcase next week. We're going to get into all of that, of course, and a lot more, actually. Vince, are you excited?
I'm super excited, man. I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a good show. It's going to be a very good one. How's your week going, man? How's everything been for you?
This week was a little bit rough early on this week, but other than that, it's been good. I finished Avengers today. Like
The story
actually,
campaign, you mean?
No, as in like
Oh.
I got the actual end game mission finished. I'm at the point where there is no narrative at all, period. It is now just the games of service, the looting, the grinding, and the repetitiveness of the game now. And
When you say
finished...
repetitiveness, I feel like this is going down a bad path.
No, it's not a bad path. I'm just saying, like, it's at that point now to where, like, it's the I have 5 other characters to level up. Like, Black Widow's my main. She's at level 50. Power level 139 is where I got her to. I'm still about like 11 levels away from the maximum power. But there's no narrative drive anymore now for what's going on. It's that part now to where it's like, all right, I need to do these activities to get this gear, or I'm going to be leveling up this person today to get this stuff and everything like that. And that's like where this is where like the real like meat of the game is, in a way, for anyone who enjoys these types of games. It's the grind now. This is the grind. I'm at that part now, and it was a lot of fun, man. The campaign is kind of a remarkable experience in a way. It doesn't actually kind of deserve the campaign that it kind of had. Like, I know even whenever you guys reacted to it at E3 and we all were kind of talking about it, even when I had, like, everyone kind of made fun of me for my support on it, I was expecting, like, yeah, it's going to be a good games of service game. The campaign had so much heart in it. If you walk away from this campaign and you do not like Kamala Khan or Miss Marvel, you're not human.
Wow.
Honestly, she did such a great job with that role. The voice actress, I can't pronounce her name.
Yeah, I was curious. Is it like a well-known voice actress?
I don't think so. At least it wasn't a name that clicked to me. But the thing is, like, it's almost made the point to where I don't know how the MCU is going to bring her in. Like, that's my Miss Marvel right now for me, Yeah. I'm sure they're going to do great. But even, like, when everyone was kind of giving, like, crap about, like, Nolan North, Laura Bailey, Troy Baker being there, everyone brings their gay game the entire time. There's a certain mission with Iron Man that you kind of go back to, and like, we're bringing the whole Avengers back together without giving too much spoilers. And the quips and the banter, everything is just firing off on all cylinders. And like, you're like, it's almost like that Age of Ultron, like final moment where, like, that they have that whole roundabout camera where everyone's doing everything.
Right,
it's, like,
right,
all
of
super
course.
cool. That's what the game does. That's what the game has, that massive, amazing feeling for, in the way. When it works.
When it works.
That's the big issue right now. The game is probably one of the worst AAA titles I have dealt with bug-wise. It's
even like in the games as a service space, which usually does start off a little bit, a little buggy,
This
a
is
little
the
bit
worst. This
unpolished.
is the worst.
Oh wow, okay.
This
Damn,
is the worst.
I feel like that's saying a lot because there's been some pretty janky experiences in the games as a service genre, if you want to call it that.
This is the worst in the sense of, like, it's not like an Anthem disaster, but everyone needs to realize that Anthem's disaster was because Anthem wasn't even a game. That was an idea that was packaged and sold, and that was it.
Right.
Anthem was not a game. The thing that really sucks about this is, again, you have these moments of where everything works, and you're just like, all right, this is awesome. And then you get stun locked 3 times, and then you die. And
What
then,
does that mean? What does stun locked mean?
So, like, because it's a brawler. It's like God of War / Devil May Cry. You know, that's what the game is. It's not Destiny. It's not a first-person shooter or anything like that. So like you have enemies that'll do power attacks that'll stun you. So like you'll be like in this animation where like, you know, oh, I gotta get back up and everything like that. Well, one enemy does it to you, then another enemy does it to you, and you know your health is getting away and you can't move. There's no agency there. There's like a lot of that type of stuff. The playing with friends, it's glitchy. Johnny Poolside and I played a lot last night. We had to restart a mission twice because the game froze. Like the game either froze on me, an enemy spawned in a wall and didn't come through. I had a moment with Mike this morning on my stream where my camera completely pulled all the way out of the box. Like I couldn't control anything. Like my camera just zipped out. Like it was like, all right, here's your skybox view of your development.
But did your entire game turn psychedelic neon colors at any point?
Yes, at one point I actually had a.
Wow. Okay, I was joking.
No,
but okay,
I
go
know
on.
what you're referring to. I actually had one part today where I was zooming in with Black Widow, and I guess the game decided my momentum was too much to where all the textures broke and warped and then like coalesced against each other. Then they all went snapped back. It was kind of a bizarre experience. But at the same time, it's a lot of fun.
Good. I'm glad it's fun. It does seem like people are, even with all the problems, it seems like people are, I guess their expectations were kind of low to the point where everybody's just kind of like, this is better than I thought it would be. And therefore, I'm just happy. I'm happy with the experience I'm getting out of this. It's better than I thought it would be. It came together in a way, as you said, especially the story campaign, in a way that was unexpected.
You would love it, dude.
As a games as a service, there's a lot of great potential for the future. I think people are very excited about that.
Oh my God, dude! It's even crazy. Like I was talking to Rick just for even just a short little bit. By the end of the story campaign, even working through the Supreme Initiative, that is the entire multiplayer aspect of the game, they have, I think, about maybe 10 different ways they can go. They've already set up Ultron really well. They set up the multiverse in a little bit. They've also set up like just other things. It is insane. And if we go off the character leaks, if they are going to try to really do this once a month type update, this game might actually have like 18 characters by this time next year.
Wow.
So we'll see. They're in this critical junction now to where the honeymoon period is waning, you know? So like a lot of the criticalness is coming out now. Like this isn't working. Why is this not working? Multiplayer still that. So they have a very, very tough road ahead of them, but I hope they can do it. Because I really, really like the game.
I think I saw that the numbers might be a little lower than expected. Is that true? Like it didn't even quite sell as well as Spider-Man. And granted, Spider-Man is a high bar, but it was a PS4 exclusive. So this being multi-platform and especially even further into the generation when more consoles have been sold, I think people thought it would at least compete with those kind of numbers. And it doesn't seem like it was even half of Spider-Man.
Well, the thing that I saw that only initially was from the UK market.
Right.
But then the UK market for me, I was just like, we're comparing a game that came out 2 years ago to this game, and there really wasn't anyone else comparing it to like say like what Last of Us or even Final Fantasy did. It just seemed like everyone was like really like nitpicking the fact that it was like Spider-Man disc, and I was like,
right,
this game, mind you, this game had a digital deluxe version and a digital version on PSN where you pay either $70 or $80 and you played the game 3 days early. So I would be interested to see.
I'm not trying to compare it necessarily. I'm just trying to bring up the subject of, is it reaching their internal projections? Like, you know, I just wonder especially when you have a games as a service like this, its longevity and its support, I would imagine, strongly depends on how it's being received and critically and commercially. And you know, that might determine how much support they throw at it from a Square Enix perspective.
Right. What I was trying to say was I think the digital markup of that is higher, and we usually don't see that until the end of the month on when we get that kind of thing. I know on Steam it's doing somewhat well. It is dropping in numbers, and then again, this is the one thing I hate that both PlayStation and Xbox don't do, is I can't like go to Marvel's Avengers like game page and be like, oh cool, 300,000 people are playing this game right now. I know there's a community that exists here, you know? I wish that's something that they would both do. That's what I do with Steam all the time. It's like, I want to buy this multiplayer game. Oh cool, like Friday the 13th. Oh cool, there's 210 people playing it. Yeah, I'm not going to buy that. You know, I don't need it. That's one of those things. But I don't know. It's the ball's in their court now. They really have to hit the cylinders with the support. They got to keep adding stuff. And I think those types of games have long-term legs. Like here's a really cool little story here. I won't keep us too much longer. Destiny 2, remember? Destiny 2. Big game,
I
right?
remember that game.
Big game. Big game. Big game that launched, right? Massive sale day one, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 1 week later, 77% of its PS4 player base was gone.
Hmm.
So that's the thing. These games always deal with that type of stuff. As long as they have a consistent core group that's playing it, and there's even that smaller little tiny faction that is buying skins, which they're expensive, I think the game's going to do just fine. We'll see.
Interesting. Yeah,
What about you?
I'm tempted. I'm tempted, just to stick with Avengers for a second here. In the future, not this year, I don't think, but I'm definitely tempted next year to get it just for the campaign alone.
Oh,
And
dude, you would love it.
yeah,
You
no,
love
can you can play the campaign with your buddies, or is it just the
you
other
you
stuff?
can. You can. The thing about that is like it's very handholdy in that aspect. Like what you played in the beta is where they introduce you to the multiplayer component. That's like 2 hours to 2.5 hours into the campaign. So you don't get to really replay those opening missions with your friends, but after that you kind of can. Then
Hmm.
there's certain missions that are only single player only because they have to bring in all the AI. It's doing all this stuff. Um, that's just kind of where that all works. But at the same time, too, what's really nice is like again in October, Kate Bishop is coming out. Kate Bishop is going to have her own entire campaign dedicated to this is what she was doing while this other campaign was happening. Then Hawkeye comes out in November. So I mean, like the thing is like you're going to constantly keep getting this narrative aspect, and that's the one thing that we're all curious to see is like, will those Kate Bishop and Hawkeye campaigns will they be that single player quality? Because it's kind of crazy on some of the set piece. It's like, oh my god, this is like straight up like this is a set piece. It'll be curious to see if it's more like that or if it's kind of like what we're doing right now in the multiplayer where it's like go in here and kill 5 enemies and then drop out.
I think
And
that the moment for me that might force me to jump over after Kate Bishop's been added, after Hawkeye's been added, but especially after Spider-Man's been added, that'll be the moment where I'm like, okay, is this a time maybe for me to take advantage of a discount that they might have around that time, and maybe I pick it up for $30 and really appreciate the campaign and an even longer, meatier campaign at that point. How long did it take you to get through the single player?
whew, I want to say I actually know I should have kept track of that. I actually wanted to say for me it was about like 14 hours. I
Yeah,
want to
so it might
say.
even be like 20 plus hours by that point if they add three other, mini campaigns onto
Yeah.
that. So,
Well, and
uh,
then like it's just crazy. Like there's a lot they're gonna do with it. Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
they better. Yeah, I think they will. I think there's
Oh
100%.
no, they are. They are at least are going to run this. And let's be. I also do want to say this too. It was supposed to be Black Panther next month, so like that's what they were ready to go with, and that was a
Yeah.
big deal. And because of the unfortunate passing of Chadwick, they actually did reshuffle a couple things minorly, I think. But it was crazy. Like, and again, they had that all set up too, where they mentioned it multiple times. You're just kind of like, oh, this is what's happening, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. Let me switch over to my headset again. The same thing is happening this week that happened last week with your audio, and it's probably only me. I'm sure the people in the chat hear you just fine. I think it's just that headset's going, unfortunately. Hold on one sec here.
You're good. I'm like dripping water everywhere.
There we go. I can hear you now. But yeah, before I jump into what I've been playing, just give a shout out here. We got 30 people in the room. Doug just joined. He says hopefully it'll be stable by then. Yeah, I heard some issues with that. We've had that brought up already. Vince brought that up, so hopefully they can iron out some of those kinks. Asha, welcome to the show. King Curtis here. Guitar Freak is here. Thunder is quiet. And Razor and so many others. Welcome to the show, everybody. Glad to have you. Let's share that show tonight. Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, other Discord communities, wherever you possibly can. Let's see if we can get up to 40, 50 viewers tonight. After show is active, we're going to do it that way. So $30 in tips tonight. We'll do a 30-minute after show. Vince said he could stick around. $60 in tips tonight, and I will do a full hour of after show with Vince. And that's just really about shooting the shit. Just talking with you guys about anything you want. We'll play some music, turn on song requests, video requests, and there we got 500 biddies already. Thank you so much, Derek. Where's
There
that
you
400?
go.
400 biddies. Thank you so much, Derek. So yeah, that's what it's all about. It's just sticking around and getting into some other subjects, or maybe diving deeper into things that we didn't, maybe glossed over on the show here. Although
Right.
I doubt that's going to happen. I'm sure we'll dive
You-
deep into everything as we usually do.
We always
But
love diving deep.
yes, we do. I see. How do you say that? R2 K Zyron is already talking about PS5 and Xbox. That is kind of our topic of this week. We will get to that in a little bit, and I'm sure we'll have a very meaty discussion about that. But yeah, hit that follow button. Get on our Discord. We're really trying to build up our Discord right now so that we can hold on the partnership. Discord.gg/the Level Up Network. We're bumping that thing now, trying to get new people off of Discord. We're really trying to build up our community on there. So we would really appreciate it if you just gave it a shot. Take a look at the conversations that are happening over there, because we have channels for pretty much everything and anything at this point, especially nerd culture related, for you to jump in and have a good time with. But other than that, I have been playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. And the first thing I'm going to say is I have an issue with the game. I think some people have seen that. It's my personal issue. This is not a slight to the game. I'm getting motion sickness from it. And it sucks because it's a good time. It's a great time. It is nostalgia overload, really. And I think a lot of people were surprised that I was a Tony Hawk fan when I was a young child back in 1999 or whenever the original released. It was one of those games that I really connected with my brother over, actually, and that's unusual. There were very few games that my brother got into. I say the big ones were Tony Hawk and Baldur's Gate. Those were kind of the only games my brother got into. So that was something that we connected over. The music, even now, is still powerful, but especially then, almost like it's helped determine who we were as like music lovers. It really influenced, I think, a lot of us in our tastes back then. But it was a special thing at that time. I don't think people realize how well it reviewed. 10 out of 10s all over the place. I remember specifically the third game getting a perfect 10 out of 10 from PSM at the time. And Final Fantasy X, which released at the exact same time, didn't get a 10 out of 10. And I was flipping out like, how dare they not get Final Fantasy X? Dare they? Yeah, so it was a powerful series. I think because of the direction it went in with Tony Hawk Ride and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 and all that, people forgot what this series was all about and how amazing it was. This brings us back to that. It feels just like the original. To a fault in some ways, I will admit. I think one of the reasons that I get motion sickness is I can't get off the board like you used to in Tony Hawk Project 8. That was a nice addition. Even if it was just for 5 seconds before it forced you to jump back on, I could get out, position myself, run around, as opposed to when you get into those tight corridors in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2, you're just bouncing like a fucking pinball. And that's what's getting me. It's right after that kind of stuff happens that I suddenly start feeling like, oh shit, okay, I might need to take a breather here. I knew somebody would say get good, and I agree to a certain extent. Like I'm still learning the game, and maybe I will improve and I won't get into those scenarios quite as often. But I was watching my cousin play over the weekend. He's very good at Tony Hawk, and he was encountering the same exact thing. Sometimes you just get into those areas where you're just knocking around, and it's so hard to then coordinate yourself again. You're just knocking around, and it's tough. So that is one thing I wish they would add, is jumping off the board. I don't think it would be a detriment to the game too much. Maybe they think it would make it too easy or something like that. But otherwise, it is like the true experience. Everything is coming back to me. Like I forgot about Roswell. I forgot about the little tournaments in the middle. Like all that's coming back to me, and the music's coming back to me. The tricks are coming back to me. I love that they added reverts and manuals. I haven't even jumped into the second game yet. But
that's awesome.
One thing I will say I was surprised about is how quickly I'm going through the first game. I think back then I remembered them being like these 20-hour to even finish the collectibles and all of that. But this time around, I was somebody raided us that night. It was a huge raid, actually, and I wish I could remember her name. Let me see if it's in the chat here. Unfortunately not. Chell, there she is. Thanks so much, Joey. Give a shout out to Chell here. She came
Pretending I'm a Superman.
Came in with a rate of 49 viewers that night.
Wow.
And she had just 100%ed both the first and second game. And I was like, how long did that take you? And she's like, about 10 or 11 hours. And I was like, what? What? I was like, you're a master. Like, there's no way you just did that. 100% these two games in 11 hours. And then by the end of my stream on Wednesday, I guess it was, and you know how me, I'm slow anyway. I'm conversing with the chat and all that. I was at like 70% of the first game. And I was like, wait, what? I'm 70% done this already? I couldn't believe it. So they're not as big as I remember them being.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, Those rose-tinted glasses, I guess. But what's great
Oh,
is
Jesus.
the way the game is structured with all the music from all of them being together, just kind of being able to press R3 and flip between them. They merged all that together, but they also separated the first game and the second game into tours, and you could just switch between the two of them at any time. They could easily add Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, 4, Underground. All these could just be added as tours, as DLC, if they wanted to. I don't know if they'll do that or if they're going to want to. Oh my! And over and again.
Oh wow, look at that.
What
Here's
are you
what
going
it
to do
is.
with the stream timer?
He wants to go one cent away. We need one more cent, and we're doing a 30-minute after show, you guys. Thank you so much, King Kurt. We'll give you a wheel spin in a little bit. So yeah, I wonder if they'll nickel and dime people in, like, you have to buy another $40 pack to get part 3 and part 4, or if you already bought part 1 and part 2, can you just spend $10 or something like that, $15 to add on part 3, to add on part 4? That's kind of what I'm hoping they do. I think that'd be really neat if they went that direction and just kept growing it almost as a games as a service type scenario. But if you are into the original Tony Hawk games, I feel like you got to get this for $40. I feel like it has a lot of content, especially considering all the online components and things that are on the horizon. It's not in there yet, but supposedly, and maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but later this year, I believe they're going to add free skate multiplayer. Right now, they don't have that. You have a lot of different competitive modes and things like that where you can play with your buddies, but I believe they're adding free skate multiplayer towards the end of the year. So more stuff to come for free. They just couldn't get it in time. I could imagine COVID probably affected their development in some way. And we'll talk about some other COVID-related development issues later on in the show today. But yeah, if you are a fan of the originals, I 100% recommend that you jump in on this game. Do it.
Ooh,
Do it.
do it.
Do it.
Speaking of,
What is there? Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that. Hold on a sec. I want to give a shout out here to Joey trying to pretend he's Superman. You know, of course, Superman, one of the best songs by Goldfinger from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, and also King Kurt coming in with the $29.99 tip, bringing us just 1 cent away from our 30-minute after show, and just $30.01 away from our full hour after show where we stick around and chat with you guys. Doom Turkey as well just came in. Let me turn off the stream timer. I apologize. That is actually not active tonight. We are going with after show this evening instead. I think it's going to work better for me tonight than going with the stream timer. And moving on with the show here, let's get into the official non-gaming portion of the show. It's called The Level Up Show Has No Game. We got 3 non-gaming topics at 3 minutes each. Are we ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm always ready. First up, it has no game. The Walking Dead is finally ending. It took a pandemic to end a show about a pandemic.
About a pandemic.
It will end with the 11th and final season. However, there will be a Carol and Daryl spin-off show, which I'm kind of surprised at, honestly. I was like, don't you guys want to get out of this at this point? 11 years later, like, you guys are still doing this. You still want to be a part of the Walking Dead universe. I don't know. Like, for me personally, I dropped off of The Walking Dead pretty much after Negan became involved. I did one more season after the whole infamous, Negan killing so many different characters episode. I was like, all right, I'll give it one more season. I'm not sure how I feel about these characters I love not being a part of this anymore. Not that that's a problem. I get why they did it. It's a part of the comics and all that. I would never fault them for that, but I did lose interest. I'm not going to lie. I lost interest after some of those characters left. So that was probably around season 8 or so, like 3 years ago. What about you, Vince? Were you ever a part of this?
No, I was never a part of it.
Wow.
I never cared. Again, the thing for me is like that was right whenever that show got really popular, like at the tail end of high school and college for me. And again, because it was so overly popular, I was one of those edgy cool kids who was like, fucking popular bullshit.
And granted, they did improve things, I've heard, in the most recent seasons. They changed showrunners and really improved it in the last couple seasons, I heard. And they also have some spin-off shows where maybe they're trying to refresh things. But holy shit, man, 11 years of this, and then they had Fear the Walking Dead, and now they got another Walking Dead show with these teenagers. It's like, I don't know, AMC, you might need to start putting your eggs in another basket.
Yeah, it just feels like it's too much.
Long in the tooth,
Like,
you know?
Yeah.
And also, like they need to start building up another great drama or franchise because this is going to end eventually.
Right.
You know, it can't hold on forever. And what else is going on AMC? After they lost Breaking Bad, Mad Men, then it was just The Walking Dead, really. That was like their big thing. And it's like, guys, you're running out. You need to start filling in here, these slots, you know? But I don't know. Maybe they got something in planning. Moving on. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said let's hope.
Let's hope. Number 2. Rey's lineage was undecided in the middle of episode 9's production. This is the final episode in the trilogy that closed off the Skywalker saga. They did not know for sure what Rey's lineage would be halfway through production. Daisy Ridley is the one who revealed this during an interview recently. She said, quote, "It came to episode 9 and JJ pitched me the film and they were like, oh yeah, Palpatine's granddaddy." And I was like, awesome. And then 2 weeks later, he was like, we're not sure. So it kept changing. So even as we were filming, I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be. Now, here's the thing. They might have just been trying to throw her off because they do that now. They sometimes try and throw the actors themselves off because they're worried about Tom Holland's situation where he accidentally spoils things on a Jimmy Fallon interview, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's Tom Holland. But the other thing, too, they want now, what they try to do now is the whole actual surprise. They want, like, that they do that scene where supposed to have a surprise. That actor actually has an actual, like, oh, shit face.
Oh, shit. Know?
Like, I remember with Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley, and whoever in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, they had no idea that, what's his name, that played Captain Barbossa was coming down the stairs. So when he came out, that all their shocked faces was legit. They were like, they were like, oh, shit, they brought him back. So
yeah,
I think it was more of that type of situation, but at the same time,
I can see that. We all like to shit on this movie, though, so let's shit on the movie, right?
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. I actually didn't hate Rise of Skywalker. I know you really disliked it. I thought it was a fun time. I think overall, after The Last Jedi, which I thought had some really strong parts, but I think was a problem as far as how it set up the rest of the trilogy and what it sort of changed from episode 7 and contradicted and then was thrown back into JJ's lap like, oh, here you go. Now figure out how this is going to end. I think that there was a problem in the entire production, right? And the planning that needed to be involved. And I think The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson could have done a little bit of a better job following up episode 7 and leading into episode 9, considering he was not going to be the one that closed off the trilogy and was going to hand it off originally to Trevorrow and then ultimately what became J.J. Abrams. But yeah, it wasn't great. It was just a fun time, and I had to sort of ignore a lot of the major flaws of the film in order to still enjoy myself, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go on a tangent. Everyone knows my feelings about it. It's actually, to me, like, this film actually almost invalidated the entire franchise.
The best.
That's what's so rough about it. Like, I actually didn't even really enjoy Mandalorian because of this film.
Seriously?
Like, that's the damage that this film did for me for this IP, which sucks. It sucks because everything about what they did is exactly what and again, it's that entitlement. It's not what I wanted, and
I get that. Yeah, it's tough. You can't control that kind of thing. Like I think it's a problem, and I think you recognize that like you shouldn't be that way. It's kind of like how I feel about The Last of Us Part 2, and now people came into that with their fan fiction, and they let it sour their feelings on the game once it didn't deliver on everything they wanted. But yeah, it's hard to control that kind of thing. It's impossible, really. It's just your feelings. It's your gut.
That's why I don't talk about it as much. I don't even try to engage in it anymore. Like, nope, not going to ruin this for anyone else.
We got Tenet up on screen right now, and that's for a couple reasons. There's been a lot of delays recently, and Tenet sort of relates to that because Tenet supposedly is really underperforming.
200 million. Box office.
They're actually not revealing all of the numbers, as far as I know. Like WB refuses to reveal all of the numbers, and a lot of other studios are actually getting pissed off about that because it's sort of not allowing them to determine how they want to handle the COVID situation, and that's of course WB. Tenet is WB, and Wonder Woman is WB, and we found out this week that has been delayed until Christmas, but this has been multiple delays for Wonder Woman at this point. I personally don't think it's even going to make this year at all.
I just no. Everything just needs to be after seeing what Tenet did at the box office here in the domestic market, or at least what we've seen. Every film needs to look in the U.S. needs to go. Nope, we're out. We're going 2021.
Well, even in other parts of the world, another thing this week was Mulan underperforming in China. Only did like $20 million. Like, the movie theater business is really affected right now.
I said it whenever this whole thing happened. It was one thing I had massive conversations with my coworkers. I was like, the movie theater business will not survive this entire pandemic. It will not.
I think it will rise from the ashes eventually, but it's going to die first.
Here's the thing.
I think it's going to die.
I don't think it's going to rise from the ashes. If anything, the experience itself will change. It's not going to be what we're used to, where we go in and pack in a 300 people auditorium to where we go see the next big blockbuster. It's going to be much more of an actual high end experience where you're getting a meal or something like that. That's what it's going to become. Because VOD is going to take over. I mean, you can see even on Tenet, even the most diehard Christopher Nolan fans are going, I'll just wait for the VOD release.
How do you feel about him sort of refusing to...
I think he's an asshole for that
I think it's really not a good light for him.
No.
Yeah, I agree. It comes off really pretentious to the point of like putting people in danger. I'm so pretentious, I'm going to put you in danger. That's what it feels like. So yeah, I'm not so fond of this Nolan.
And the thing that really freaking sucks is that like do it on VOD and then re-release it in a limited only event for theaters, and guess what? You get your money back.
Yeah.
Like it's like this is the most asinine thing I've seen them do. I just don't get it.
I've gone into the drive-in theater twice now, Trish. We've brought Evie one of those times. We went to see Harry Potter. It was a double feature. It was going to be Harry Potter 1 and 2. Of course, we only stuck for the first movie because Evie fell asleep by the end of it. And then the other one we did was Clueless and Mean Girls, which was a good time. We had a good time with that. Drive-in theaters are thriving. Every time we've gone to the drive-in theater, well, 2 times I should say, it was packed. It was sold out. So those are doing
funny.
well.
I'm such a snob that I can't enjoy drive-ins.
Why?
I can't. It's from my area. It's picture. It's AFM radio. I can't. Do it.
That's
it
why I would
me.
never see Tenet in a drive-through, but I would see Clueless and Mean Girls. I would see Harry Potter movies I already saw.
Those types of experience. I get that. I will say though, one thing I do like about Tenet is its score. Its score is a lot of fun. And
it's not Hans Zimmer, right, on this one?
No, it's Ludwig Göransson. I think is how you say his name. It is the Black Panther composer. And helped with Redbone with Childish Gambino. Fun little fact.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I do want to see it. I will wait for VOD, but I do really want to see it. I heard
want to see it too.
A real thinker, that one, as usual for his more cerebral films. Let's do a couple of wheel spins here because we did get a bunch more support, some dollars going around. We got $1.01 from Derek. We got Rose City Matt with $1. So we are officially in after show. At the least, we will do a 30-minute after show. If you guys can get to $60, we will do a 60-minute after show. First off, let's do a wheel spin for Derek coming in with those 400 biddies. Thank you so much. Guys, don't forget, you get wheel spins for anything worth $5 or more on the show. And of course, you are heading towards the extension, the after show, if we can get there. This one's for you, Derek. Thank you so much for all the support. You never stop. 60 XP for that. Let's also spin for Joey Vantera coming in with 13 months. Thank you so much, Joe. 60 plus 90. We're up to 150. Let's do several spins. I'm going to do 3 spins for King Kurt for that big tippy. So we got 150 plus 65. That's 215. Well, we're adding up. We got 60. That's 275. Whenever I hear 275, I think of Happy Gilmore. 275 plus 70 is 345. Can I keep doing the math? Actually, one more for King Kurt. 345 plus 65 is 410. And now we are going to spin for Doom Turkey. 410 plus 65. That's 475. And Johnny Poolside.
Johnny.
475 plus 70. That is 545. I know math. Plus viewers, 545. I think I got that right. I hope so.
Thanks for all the support, everyone.
Room. You guys are amazing coming in so quickly with the support already. We have shattered our daily tip goal as well. So that means we are going to switch over to the goal wheel and do a high points wheel spin. Impressive math skills. Thank you, Trish. I appreciate that. I know math.
Yeah, it's crazy. He does the math. You see me on my stream. I'm like 2 plus 2 is 4, right? Yeah, yeah.
You
it's
are.
4.
You got it, man. You got it. You got it. Way to go. Proud of you. E75. Way to go, room. And with that, let us go to a short commercial break. When we come back, we are getting into some big stuff, you guys. We are talking about Xbox Series S. We are talking about the PS5 event on the horizon and much more. So hold on tight. Asha Recall. We'll be back in approximately 90 seconds. Welcome back, Level Uppers, to the Level Up Show, episode 298. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys are enjoying the stream, we got 37 people in the room. One of you is new. I know somebody in here has got to be new. If you're enjoying that stream, hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/levelup show. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever I go live. Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesdays are always variety gaming. Sundays are typically variety gaming, but we do get those talk shows in there. We're heading towards episode 300, our big anniversary episode, and we've got some huge stuff to announce at episode 300. I'm really excited. Holy mother shitting God.
Who did this? Who did this?
Who done that? Who done
20.
this?
20?
What? That is
What is
$100 in support right there from Anonymous.
Anonymous.
Oh my God. We are about
Wow,
to
that
hear.
person-
I've got to turn off our alerts for a little bit, guys. I have to turn off alerts because when you do anonymous sub gifting, it does an alert for every single sub. So we've got 20 sub alerts about to happen.
You know what I like about this is that person was so quick and they were here for Twitch initially. They actually got the name Anonymous. That's really crazy.
Yeah, right. I'm going to assume this is Hitman RX still wanting to hold on to his... Oh, it's still making the noise? All right, let's see if I can mute alerts. Let me try that. I'm going to mute alerts. Hopefully we can carry on. But I believe it is Hitman RX because he doesn't want to lose his exact number of 420 gifted
Right.
subs. So from then on, he has only done anonymous gifting. Jeez, I think it worked. I'm not hearing any alerts. I'll turn back on alerts in a little bit, guys. So remind me, please, in the chat, because I'm sure I'll forget to turn back on alerts. But please remind me to turn those back on for you guys. Rise and Death coming in. You're welcome from Anonymous. I don't know who did it, but let me just say, we got Rise and Death, Polive Tree, Naoki Sugu, I'm not sure to say it, 125 Outlanders, Chief Geef, Blood Broker, Trippin, JRW, Skunk Jahar, Nit's Mom, Empyrean Rose, John 007, Matty F and Matt, Rodin, Ghost Cat was taken, Cool Casual Gamer, Suzaku Medi, T-Fane, Split Maniac, and CSG Dog. 20 gifted subs, you guys. That's $100 in support right there from Anonymous. Thank you so much. You're unbelievable for doing that. And we have shattered our daily sub goal for the next wheel spin event. We'll acknowledge that with a huge old high points wheel spin. But yes, anything worth $5 more will get you a spin of the prize wheel, you guys. I can't speak. I'm like flabbergasted by what just happened. That's unbelievable. That brings us up to like 120 subs now. We're climbing, you guys. That's like 120 subs now we have on the channel. That's amazing. But other than that, yeah, just hit that follow button. That's all you need to do. That guy went nuts. Whoever that is, or gal, went nuts. But all you gotta do if you're new is hit that follow button here at twitch.tv/show. And also go over to Vince's channel at Agent Vincent 4756. He's up on screen right now. He has been helping us for how long now? Have you been helping us on the show here, coming on?
I kind of want to say it's getting close to. It has to either be a year or somewhat close to a year, right?
Yeah, I feel like it, right?
Because I think we're almost at my 2-year anniversary being part of the community in Christmas. Because that's when I jumped on a Dead Cell stream with you, and then I think I helped you in like a March show or something like that. Because it was like right when I started streaming, and then that's March is when I started doing all that stuff. So I think it's got to be getting close to about a year and some odd. I don't know.
It's crazy. It doesn't feel like that long, but you're right. It probably is. It probably is that long. And thank you so much for everything you've done for this channel. That's why everybody in the chat, if you support the Level Up Show, you got to support Agent Vincent 4756 as well. There's a shout out for him. Go over to his channel, give him a follow at the least so you can check out his next stream, which is going to be what, since you're done with Avengers?
Well, honestly, like I'll probably be streaming Avengers again tomorrow. Because like I said, I still got to do like the games as a service aspect of the game now. I got to level up everyone else because that's how I am. But after that, I'm still deciding on if I'm doing Mario or if I'm going to do all of the Batman Arkham games. I did Asylum, actually. I just got done with Asylum, but I'm curious if I want to go do all the other ones. I'm still
One
figuring
thing
things
I
out.
really want to do, I have no idea when I would do it, but I really would like to during a drought at some point, maybe next year. I want to do the entire Metal Gear Solid collection. Well, I shouldn't say that. I want to do Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 4.
I just wish there was an easier way of playing
I
them.
that's the problem. The problem
Yeah.
is that it's very difficult to play the first one, especially,
Damn you,
but
Blue
even
Point.
2 and 3, because I don't think I have the setup anymore to hook up my PS3 through Elgato.
Yeah.
So, like, God, it's so annoying, and I don't think there's any other way. I think PS3 is the only way to do Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3.
You could do the Vita collection and get a Vita TV, but I have no idea how expensive that would be.
Yeah.
You do that too, but it has HDMI and everything like that.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
that's something I would really like to do in the future, maybe next year if there's a drought. So.
Oh yeah, you should need to do a heart rate monitor, man. It's a lot of fun. Chad makes fun of me for getting up and
Oh,
my
you
heart
got
rate
one?
spiking. I got one. I've actually been testing out last 3 streams. It's
Does it work well, you think?
it works well. I did the $4.99 sub thing for it today for Pulsoid, so I can actually have like a real time graph and everything like that. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. It was like, oh wow, everyone saw that my one section was like, my heart rate spiked up to like 130 because I was freaking out real quick, and so I
Nice.
was like, So I
Speaking
just
of
remembered about that.
terrifying stuff, that gift that just happened on screen reminds me that Shocktober is on the horizon, and
It is.
I'm pretty sure the 2 games I'm going to do. I think it's probably going to be 2 games unless I go through them quicker than expected. I want to do Resident Evil 4, a game I've never played, shockingly, and Dead Space
Big
2.
game.
I never played the
Ooh.
sequel to Dead Space. So
Dude, you are gonna love Dead Space 2, except for one part. You might actually not like one part, but dude, Dead Space 2 is so good.
yeah, so I think those are the 2 games I'm going to do for Shocktober this year, and of course Shocktober is simply that scare tips are discounted. They're about half of what they would normally be, so it makes it even easier for you guys to scare tip the hell out of me during scary games. So that's coming starting in October. Well, we'll see. I'm not sure if it's going to be exactly in October. It depends on how Wednesday and Sunday fall, but keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a good time. Let's just jump into what's next, guys.
Let's do it.
Let's not waste any more time. Do it. We're going to get into a big old level update. That is our weekly discussion of the week's biggest gaming industry news. First up in the level update, we're getting into the big news of the week. Xbox Series S has finally been revealed, or maybe I should say it has finally been leaked.
Yeah.
After all of this, Vince, after all the waiting, all of the games
All
of chicken,
chicken.
although we won't go first, Sony will go first. We refuse to let them have the upper hand. After all of that, Brad Sams, the son of a bitch, leaks pretty much everything.
Yep.
Yeah, even videos, like well produced, clearly internal Microsoft videos
Yeah.
leaking out, and we got the price and all, and it is $299. Very impressive, very very impressive. But let's go into what has determined that price. Let's talk about the inner tier, and I'm gonna let you go down this list at whatever pace you want, Vince. You are the tech guru, so why don't you take a look at the
God.
Series S? You can compare it to Series X if you would like, however you want to approach this.
Let's just dive into the Series S here, and we'll do comparisons. I'll compare each component here so you guys can see it, but I'll start with the S and I'll go right into the X.
Do it.
So for the CPU, for the Xbox Series S, we have an 8-core AMD Zen 2 CPU clocked at 3.6 gigahertz, and it's 4 gigahertz with simultaneous multi-threading enabled.
Wait, Vince, but isn't that even faster than the PS5?
It is by like a point something.
0.1, yeah. And that's
Yeah,
not
0.1.
that's with SMT enabled,
Enabled,
which
it's not a huge deal. I don't understand why that was even brought up. I don't even want to
Yeah,
talk about it.
it's
'cause
dumb.
it's stupid.
guys, it's pretty much the exact same CPU between PS5, Xbox Series S, and X. At least as far as its power goes, its speeds, they're very similar. I wouldn't even
It's-
really be concerned with that.
Yeah, and then comparing it to the Series X console, that is an 8-core AMD Zen 2 CPU clocked at 3.8 gigahertz with 3.6 gigahertz with SMT enabled. Moving down to the GPU, this is where things get a little kind of interesting. You have an AMD RDNA 2 GPU with 20 compute units clocked at 1.565 gigahertz. In comparison to the Series X console, that's AMD RDNA 2 GPU at 52 compute units at 1.825 gigahertz.
Okay.
Pretty
So the
interesting.
the math comes out to be 12.15 teraflops versus 4 teraflops for the Series X,
Right.
and we've talked about this because this has been known that the Series S was about 33% of the GPU power
Right.
of the Series X, and that seems about right when you
It's
go down
very
to
close.
1080p. 1440p is actually pushing that a little bit, as I think my
We'll talk
math
about that.
checked out. But
We'll talk about that in a second because it's interesting.
yeah,
I don't know why they're doing that. We won't worry about the system on chip because no one cares. No one even needs to worry about that. The RAM. This, my friends, is where this will be the interesting the dice roll, if you want to say here. So the
hmm,
system is going to have 10 gigabytes of GDR6 RAM. 8 gigabytes of that is going to be clocked at 224 gigabytes a second, and then 2 gigabytes of that will be at 56 gigabytes.
that's really low.
It's very low.
That's for
In
the, I'm
comparison,
guessing the RAM that's not going to be used for games, right? That's like the UI RAM, the 2 gigabytes?
no, we don't know yet. That's the one thing that's inconclusive. We don't know yet
Okay.
because the actual thing that's been talked about is the if you're actually gonna copy the UI in a RAM footprint, no matter what you do, that's blotting out features like multi-app like switching, party chat, things like that. The Series X still uses 3.5 gigabytes of that. So that's the one interesting thing there. So if that's the case, you're looking at 7.5 gigabytes of usable for games. So
That's odd.
it's it's a very interesting thing. We don't know. They could have the entire UI just set for the 2 gigabyte, and it's 8 gigabytes for the game. We don't know.
Hmm.
This is where I think early on this RAM is not going to matter, but next gen games, this is the thing that
Yeah.
we all kind of worried about. We were worried about. This is where that worry comes into fruition. This
And this
is
is the
the
one area I have seen developers on Twitter come out against and say this is the bottleneck.
this is the bottleneck, and that is the
Yeah.
curious thing because the 224 gigabytes is only just a smidgen faster than I think what the Xbox One X's GDR5
Right.
memory is, if I
And what
remember right.
sucks, in my opinion, about this is what I'm hearing from some devs, and granted, they could be wrong. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just listening to both sides and trying to figure out what's going on here. What concerns me and what has been my concern is that the Series S will hold back multi-platform next generation games. And if that is the bottleneck, there's really no argument against that anymore. Like that is holding back next generation
Next gen.
development.
Yep.
PS5 games will be held back, or development will be a more arduous process to get around that bottleneck as a part of the inclusion of the Series S in this next generation of consoles. And that
Yeah.
sucks. I hate that. I hope that's not the case. What I'm reading from some of these devs on Twitter makes it feel like that's the case, though. But to be seen.
Yeah. It to be seen. And then compared to the Series X RAM here, guys, this is where Series X. This is the big moment here. You have 16 gigabytes of GDR6 RAM, 10 gigabytes clocked at 560 gigabytes per second. Woof, super fast.
That's really
Then you have
fast, yeah.
6 gigabytes at 336 gigabytes. 336 gigabytes. Still, woof, super fast.
Very fast, yeah.
Very fast.
That's a big difference between the two of
Big
those.
difference. Big difference.
Yeah.
And the thing, dude, that's the hardest thing when we're going back to the RAM conversation is it's not just textures. A lot of people that I see that kind of keep doing that, that they keep like kind of describing that like it's 1440p texture. That's fine with that RAM speed. It's like these consoles don't work that way. They're not just VRAM. They're not like what your GPU, what your computer does, where like you have your system RAM and then you have your GPU using VRAM for your textures. Like that's not the case here. That's partially the case. And it's just like I don't know. I'll be real curious to see within like even a year or two after this that where this console sits at performance metric wise. And even watching Digital Foundry video today right before we did the show, I mean, seeing them do comparative specs with like a I can't remember numbers here, but like looking at a lower compute unit GPU with the same sort of specs and everything like that, it's like wow, this literally copies the exact same thing that what the One X is or the Scorpio set is. It's like I don't know how I feel about that being a next gen console. Like
Yeah.
I almost wish
In a
this,
ways,
I,
we're going to talk about it in a little bit. I personally feel like it doesn't fully fall under the next gen,
oh yeah
misnomer, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really fall under that, especially with what we're going to talk about in a little bit, but I'm not going to jump ahead of you here.
yeah. I just want to say thank you to Thunder's Quiet for correcting me. It looks like that the One X actually has its memory clocked at 326 gigabytes So that's
Even
actually even
faster.
crazier to me. Yeah, that's even crazier to me. So thank you for that, Thunderous. Performance target, let's be real, 1440p at 60 frames up to 120 frames. This is no.
I could see
Nope.
it maybe for the cross-generational games, but I think once we get into like
The actual
true
next gen,
next
nope.
generation games, I don't think they're going to hit that.
Nope.
I think it's going to be a 1080p 60 FPS machine.
Which is why I think with the marketing, I think they would have just been in a much stronger position if they just would have said 1080p. I think going for
I agree.
1440p just sounds so weird. Like that sounds like you're trying to go for like the desktop gamer, which is like
Right, because
that
TVs don't have
person,
support for that resolution, right?
right? The systems do, and TVs with if they're actually really good at scaling, 1440p does a really great job of scaling to 4K and other things like that. But
Okay.
like if you have, it's weird. I don't know why they're kind of going for that. I think they're going for like the whole monitor system. Like I said, that's why I think they're going for like the whole monitor, like the whole you have a small gaming PC and then you have a monitor connected right to that. Well, here's your 1440p monitor with variable refresh rate, AMD FreeSync. Here you go. That might be what's be pushing this.
Yeah.
I just think it's an odd decision. Again, if the marketing here would have been 1080p, 60 frames up to 120 frames with the occasional bonus 1440p, that's amazing. Them trying to do this whole it's 1440p performance target, I was like, I think it's a little too much to chew. I don't know. We'll have to see though. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
clearly Microsoft has done their R&D, so we'll have to see what happens.
Sure.
And then Series X is the 4K machine, 60 frames with the 120 frames, which is
Right.
kind of awesome and incredible in a sense. Storage wise though, this is good. This is good other than the size. You have a 512 gigabyte PCI Express Gen 4 NVMe SSD with a 2.4 gigabytes a second uncompressed, 4.8 gigabyte seconds. 4.8 gigabytes second compressed. That's the game changer. That is the next gen game changer, no matter how you slice and dice it.
And it's the exact same as the
It's the
Series
exact
X.
same.
It's just
Yep.
a different storage capacity.
Right, which is a lot smaller for a digital only console. It's a little interesting, and I get that's probably where they got most of their cost savings in a way, because that was right before they started doing the whole NAND prices started to fall. So I don't know how contracts like that actually get shaped, like how they renegotiate things like that. Because when they built these machines, NAND prices were high. We're now actually entering in an actual stage of that all dropping and oversupply and everything like that. I don't know, especially if the leak is true about the 1 terabyte expansion card. I actually don't think the $299 is actually a savings. It's
right. So the rumor or the
yeah,
report is that it's $200. Is that right? $200 for the.
$220 is the
Ooh.
proprietary 1 terabyte expansion card. Again, that
Oh,
is a
man.
rumor. That is a rumor only. That is not confirmed in any capacity. It could be
Yeah.
coming cheaper or anything like that, but being it proprietary, not
That would
so
be steep. That's very steep in my
steep
opinion.
for a 1 terabyte.
I
Now,
was hoping like 150 at the max.
that's what I was thinking, and that could still be a case that could be happening now. Maybe with that, they're
Yeah.
able to adjust that and they price that more accordingly.
Yeah.
But for a digital console, it does feel a little bit small considering the PS5 digital edition is a 800 and some odd gigabyte. It's the exact same
Right.
thing as this one. It's weird to me. I don't know why they didn't make it just a 1 terabyte one and just kind of still chill out with it.
Let's jump forward a little bit here. We're gonna skip over
Go
these
for it.
last ones because they're kind of things we know.
They're
But the price is
yeah.
is one final thing. We know the $299, but we also now know the Series X price being $499. So we got a $200 deficit here. When you head towards the Series S, that's great savings. $299 is absolutely fantastic. I still personally feel like the Series X is worth the $499. I would never go with the Series S myself, especially considering this next story. Xbox Series S won't apply Xbox One X backwards compatibility enhancements. And this could relate to what we talked about earlier with the RAM in the Xbox One X actually being faster than the Xbox Series S. So the quote here is, though the Xbox Series S will undoubtedly be a more capable machine than the Xbox One X overall, Microsoft has confirmed with us that when playing backwards compatible titles, the Xbox Series S won't apply any Xbox One X centric enhancements. When asked to clarify how the Series S deals with Xbox One X enhanced games, a Microsoft spokesperson provided the following statement, quote, Xbox Series S was designed to be the most affordable next generation console and play next generation games at 1440p 60 FPS. To deliver the highest quality backwards compatible experience consistent with the developer's original intent, the Series S runs the 1S version of backwards compatible games while applying improved texture filtering, higher and more consistent frame rates, faster load times, and auto HDR. So I have to see like how impressive those last bits there as far as what's being applied. But seeing it say that it's playing the Xbox One S version of backwards compatible games, my first response to that is this is a hit on the next gen term being applied to Series S, in my opinion. When I read this, I was like, how can you say this is a true next gen machine? If
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And it's actually been kind of the thing that I've been seeing a lot more people kind of it's not like a backlash. It's been kind of more of like oh,
well, now I'm going Series X. That's what I'm seeing mostly. Like you made the decision for me now. You know?
And mind you, I think we frequent a lot of enthusiast forums, so we kind of get that cross section there. But even then, like even talking to like some of the people that I know who are not really heavy gamer wise and everything like that, you tell them that like, yeah, this system is only going to play this in certain modes. They're like, isn't it newer?
Mhm.
Like there's that disconnect there. Again, it's an enthusiast viewpoint that we get to see that from.
Right.
I read this and I was just kind of like, what's the point then? Like,
well, that's here's the point, and I think this affirms it even further. The enthusiasts, us, yes, we read that and we're like, why would we ever go Series S? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The reason you go Series S is if you don't have a 4K TV, you don't care about 4K, and on top of that, maybe you play Madden and Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, and that's about it. If that's the case,
right?
Yeah, the Series S is probably going to be fantastic for you. You're going to play the next generation games in 1080p, probably 30 or 60 FPS, and you're not going to give a shit because you don't really even know about like the 4K prowess of the Series X or the PS5. That means nothing to you, and you don't even care about first-party exclusives, probably, right? So you don't need the PS5 for that reason. You just need your Series S to play Grand Theft Auto and Madden and Call of Duty and, you know, whatever else is multi-platform, Assassin's Creed and, you know, all those.
But you know what kills me is, and Mike even brought this up to me when we were playing a little bit today, and I think he might have just brought it up in chat. I think I saw his name. Here's my thing. Why not just make a streaming box at $99 then? Why?
I agree.
Why are we doing this discless digital console for this? Like, why is Microsoft even doing this? Why can't they just do like even a $149 streaming box?
I get why they're doing it still. I think the streaming box makes a lot of sense on the horizon, especially years from now when data caps are raised and all that. Maybe that's why they didn't want to go that direction. But the problem is that the Series S, as you just said, is an all-digital machine that has a 512 gigabyte SSD. It's really weird. If you're going to go that direction, then they needed to support the digital aspect of it. And it feels like they didn't fully do that. And so for that reason, I'm like, why? You did a half measure here. You should have just gone streaming box then. Like, you know, you didn't go all the way with this other strategy. I feel like the Series S is going to feel obsolete quickly. And is there going to be a mid-iteration, iteration upgrade? I don't know that there is actually going to be one this time. The reason that happened in this generation is because 4K came out, people were jumping on, they wanted to keep up with PCs, but these new consoles, specifically PS5 and Series X, they are 8K compatible. Do I think we're ever going to get that? No, but they are. They can do 8K. Yeah. So they're sort of future-proof in a way that this generation of consoles weren't originally back in 2013. I don't know that we're going to get a mid-generation iteration this time around.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Here's my thing. If we're going to see it, we're going to see the most aggressiveness out of Microsoft with it, with the Series S. We'll see a Series S2 3 years from now, which will be updated for whatever things, because that's the small price on it. You do the all access program, it's like a cell phone. You get everyone kind of used to that whole cell phone type model of you pay 25 or 30 bucks a month. Next thing you know, 2 years are up. Oh, hey, they have a new one out. I want that one. It's only 25. I've been paying 25, 30 bucks. Why not? You know?
Like, here's a question. Do you even think Microsoft is happy with the performance of the Xbox One X? Because the thing was around for 2 years. Like, that thing had to have a decent amount of R&D, and I understand some of that can be forwarded onto the next generation consoles, but it's really bizarre to me that they had their mid-generation iteration be just canceled after 2 years. It's like, was that worth it? Like, why even do it? Xbox One S clearly is their best performing console. It's cheaper. People don't really. The Xbox One X, I'm sure, sells, but not as much as the One S does. The One S is sticking around. That one actually isn't going away.
Yeah.
So I just, it makes me question if, once again, if that is even going to happen this generation, this upcoming generation.
I mean, I still think we're still gonna see it. We're gonna see it whenever with ray tracing. I mean, with ray tracing and SSD, like say Sony wants to sit there and say, screw it. Hey, guess what? PS5 Pro, your 5.5 gigabyte SSD speed is now better than what PCI. We're gonna do 10 gigabytes per second. Who cares? Like, I could see Sony doing that for that very reason, and I could see Microsoft going out with the Xbox Series Z, where this is the full out 8K machine because we're crazy and we're amazing and we have Game Pass to, bolster all that type of stuff.
Speaking of Game Pass, segue, you guys might have seen that up on screen. That was for a reason. EA Play has been added to Xbox Game Pass at no extra charge. Xbox.com. It's a very big deal. It's absolutely fantastic. It's what I think a lot of us thought would be the thing to bolster Game Pass that was being rumored for a while. Some people thought it'd be Cyberpunk. That was unlikely. EA Play made a lot of sense. Xbox.com writes, when we created Xbox Game Pass, we did so with the vision of bringing you more great games to discover and play with your friends. Over the last 3 years, we've delivered on that vision by bringing more content to our 10 million members, and we've expanded the service to reach people whenever they play across devices. At E3 in 2019, we introduced Game Pass Ultimate and Game Pass for PC, and last month we shared that Ultimate members can play more than 100 games from the cloud on their Android phone or tablet beginning on September 15th. Today, we're excited to announce the next step in this journey. We are teaming up with Electronic Arts to provide Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC members with an EA Play membership at no additional cost starting this holiday. This means Ultimate members can play EA Play on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, S, and Windows 10 PCs, and Game Pass for PC members get EA Play on Windows 10. Formerly known as EA Access and Origin Access, EA Play will bring the best of EA to Game Pass. Do we think this is why Sony and EA are kind of on the outs right now? They're not too happy with each other? Well, more specifically, Sony's not happy with EA right now.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I think it's just because EA's in this weird thing. Like, look at this. Like, we saw EA Play now and everything like that. Like, Origin has kind of diminished completely as a storefront on PC. And it's just been like, they've been like in this really weird thing, And I don't know. This is like a really cool thing because, like, again, this actually kind of bolsters Game Pass for the sense of sports.
Yeah.
Like, sports. I mean,
sports
FIFA
ball.
and Madden. Okay, cool. I mean, like, that's like a huge get from Microsoft. You can't even deny that. If anyone tries to deny it's not a big deal. It's like, that's a big deal.
It's just, once again, more added value to an already very, very valuable service.
But it's actually kind of funny. Sorry, I did not mean to cut you off there.
No,
but it's
fine,
funny, though, because PC, they're actually raising the price on Thursday. They're bringing up to the $10. Yep. It's kind of amazing to see how many people have been like $10 a month. I'm out.
Yep, I agree. I saw that.
So
There's a lot
weird.
of people saying that. Yep. That's all it took was $10. And I've been saying this for a while now. Remember, I've said this multiple times that they're not going to be able to keep it at these low prices. Both of them are probably going to go up eventually. And I think that you're going to see a lot of people drop off. It's just it's so cheap right now that people are willing to stick around. But yeah, once it starts
getting $70 price points. Here's another thing too. I don't want to make sure I don't get clear the waters here. The other big issue with PC is the catalog is vastly inferior to the actual console one. So again though, it was funny though to me for a service that is incredibly valuable or has an incredible value to it. I'm sorry. You asked for $5 more. People were like, fuck that shit.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes, man. $60 more a year, and the cost of one game, $60 more a year, and they're out. Can't handle this. I won't stand for it. All right, that's kind of the Xbox Series S and X, right? Really fantastic prices. 500 and 300 are what I thought, I will say. So it's almost, again, disappointing that it's like all this waiting and it was exactly what I thought it would be. But there were a lot of people that did think it would be more. So it's a fantastic price. I thought they would do it. They're taking supposedly some big losses.
Massive losses.
A big loss on Series X, a really big loss on Series S.
S.
So that, of course, brings in the other player and how they're going to respond to this, because PlayStation's got to be happy as a pig in shit right now. In one capacity, at least. In the capacity, not in that these are great price consoles, because they might be like, ah, shit, we were hoping they would be a little more expensive.
Yeah.
But they won the game of chicken. They did it, you guys. They waited Xbox out. It leaked. Everybody internally at Microsoft has got to be unbelievably pissed. I don't think it was a controlled leak. This came out close to midnight on a random day from Brad Sams, and then that morning, 3 a.m., Microsoft dropped a tweet at 3 a.m. of, okay, yep, here it is. Xbox Series S, $299 coming, whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is not a controlled leak. You don't drop a tweet like that at 3 a.m. No way in hell do you do that. So, yes, this was not controlled. This was them getting screwed over hard. They did not want this to happen. They waited so long to try and keep the upper hand and be able to undercut PlayStation if they needed to. They might not need to, because PlayStation might have looked at this and said, all right, yeah, we can't beat that. Can they match it? Yeah, I think probably they can match it. We'll get into that in a moment. But all that is on the horizon, very near horizon, because the PS5 reveal, PS5 game showcase, is set for next Wednesday.
Oh my gosh.
4 p.m. Eastern time, you guys. We are there. We are on it. It's about to happen. We're getting this price. We're getting this release date, right? We can't wait any longer. The pre-order date on Xbox One Series X and S is, I think, the 22nd. So they cannot wait. They've got to get that price and date out there before people start pre-ordering the competitor, right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
I'd agree with that. I thought that was Thursday that they were dropping that. I thought it was the 17th.
No, it's Wednesday the 16th. I hope it's the 16th, because I can react if it's on the 16th.
No, I meant no. I'm sorry. I thought the Xbox pre-orders were the 17th. Okay. That's why I thought the 16th PlayStation thing was crazy. I was like, holy shit, they're gonna do it. But if you're saying it's the 22nd, then okay, that's not nearly as bad. I thought that was gonna be violent Sony.
That gives them almost a full week, a full week ahead of pre-order date on Series X and S. So they've got time to get out in front. They had time to also respond to this. Some people are like, the day of the leak, people were like, why hasn't Sony responded? Why hasn't Sony responded? And honestly, I was just like, I don't understand those people. I don't like it seems so obvious to me from a business perspective why you wouldn't respond to that. Why would you ever put yourself in the arena of that? Because those are two very great prices, and I'll be honest, I'm highly doubtful that Sony is going to beat them in a major capacity. So, and they weren't going to decide that very quickly. Even if they are going to undercut them by 50, why would you want to cannibalize in the arena of Xbox? You give yourself your own week dedicated to, this is PS5 week. That is how you do it. You don't go in the same week as the competitor. That makes no sense. So what they did next Wednesday, that is exactly what I thought they would do. The code name for this, Vince, what is the code name for this event? We've got code names for events now.
We got code names for events. This is Project Nimble. Was the code name.
Interesting. Project Nimble. What does it mean?
I don't know. What does it mean?
What would you speculate? What's the meaning for Project Nimble?
I would assume like nimble means like, agile, right? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, I would agree. Agile.
Is it agile, or is it like about crouching down and then like jumping and spraining? I don't know, maybe stuff like that, where like they were always probably ready to just keep moving us back and forth. I don't know. It's
there's two sides to this. It could be about the speed of the PS5. It's got an amazing SSD, even more impressive than Xbox Series X. So that could be one aspect. The other aspect could be that it was about responding to Microsoft. It could maybe confirm that PlayStation was like, there's no way we're going first. We will wait you out as long as we have to. And we are going to be nimble. We are going to be agile, and we are going to respond in turn. That probably is what I think it is, actually. Yeah. I think it's about them saying, we will get the upper hand. Will they take advantage of that upper hand, though, is a question. We've got some rumors about what is going to be shown at this event.
Big rumors.
Tell me about them, Vince. What have you heard?
I hear, I know you're a certain fanboy of a certain franchise. So apparently, the small game Final Fantasy 16 is rumored to be present. Just maybe.
See, I heard rumors that it might have been at the original event, but it wasn't.
It wasn't because on it supposedly being at the Future of Gaming, Nevatara on Resetera before the event, I kind of spoiled the whole thing. It wasn't verified back then, so I felt it was okay to be blunt with it since no one could take it as leaks until after the fact. I shared details like Crash 4 not being there, but later than the month, Demon Souls being there, but not Silent Hill, and kind of gave away the whole lineup, including oddballs like Sackboy and Thea, and even the Avengers exclusive DLC, which was supposed to be there, but then it got announced later. So yeah, 16 was supposed to be there. I'm 100% positive on it, along with another smaller unannounced Square Enix thing I might add. Whether it'll be shown Wednesday or not, I don't know, but it just makes sense for it to be.
I like that little tidbit at the end there. Another smaller unannounced SE thing. See, to me, that could be something like 7 Remake, PS5 patch, or something like that. Would you agree that could be like a smaller Square Enix thing?
I think that'd be a smaller little surprise. Would be, hey, here's a remake part 1 PS5 version.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it would
up.
include like a teaser of part 2, because I think that would be a big thing if they showed a teaser of part 2.
That would be a very big thing. I don't think they're quite ready for that quite yet, too. That seems like that would be much more like Square's like big standalone moment, like they did for E3 for a remake.
So this gives us an opportunity here to speculate. I'm going to say right off the bat, I do think Final Fantasy 16 is going to be there. I'm like pretty sure of it. I'd say like 90% sure 16 is going to be there.
I would agree because I mean, every insider was like, it was supposed to be there. What's going on? It was supposed to be there.
What else do you think might be there that we haven't seen it all yet? And we'll get into
Silent Hill.
You think Silent Hill?
Oh my God, it has to be. There's so much smoke and fire with that now. It has to be there. I'm 100%.
What if it's like still pretty far away though?
I'll be devastated if it's not there. Okay, I
Really?
I just want that whole thing. Here's my thing. I want it to be where it says it's Kojima directing it, and I just want all the tears of everyone everywhere to be unleashed.
Well, let's talk about what Sony said on their blog. They did talk a little bit about what this event's going to be, and not too strangely, I don't think it means anything. They did say it's all about games, and people were like, "Wait, no price, no release date." They also said that about the original event.
And then we got a hardware reveal.
And then we got the hardware reveal. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But they said it's all about games. And they also said that it's going to extend beyond the launch of PlayStation. So we're going to see things that aren't just the launch window of PS5. So that could mean that even if Silent Hill is a 2022 title, that doesn't mean it won't be there at this event.
Yeah. I mean, I just hope it's there. Like I said, I just want it to be there.
Here's a little poll that might give some speculation to you guys as well. What of these do you think will be there? I've got 10 different options, and you can vote for as many as you want, guys. Factions, The Last of Us 2 multiplayer, Final Fantasy 7 remake PS5 upgrade, Final Fantasy 16, God of War 2, Silent Hill, reveal of PS1, PS2 backwards compatibility, a UI presentation, price and date, a studio acquisition, or a PlayStation Now refresh. That can also feed our discussion here. Vince, what do you think? Of those there, do you think any of those are on the table?
I do not think we will see factions. We're not going to see factions. I think factions will get like a Ghost of Tsushima type reveal with that. As in, like, they're going to just drop that in their own state of play or their own announcement of that and then have a dedicated state of play for that later. I just don't think it's going to be there. I think it would just be odd for them to kind of show it there unless it's coming out like that day. Like, it's one of those things. Mm-hmm. I'm with you on 16 and remake a PS5 upgrade. I do not think we will see God of War 2. If we see God of War 2, then buckle up, everyone. It is going to be...
Yeah. I've got to say, I think there's a possibility. Real quick, once again, chat, guys, you can vote multiple times. Vote for, like, if you think all 10 of them are going to be there, just keep voting as many times as you want. I want to get a gauge here for how this is going to go on your guys' expectations. So keep voting. I think there's a chance that we get like a very, very short, like 30 seconds at most, CGI, maybe even little title card reveal situation.
I just don't want it after we saw how God of War was revealed with the orchestra and everything like that. No, I'm sorry. I need my orchestra and my theater event for God of War 2, okay? Mm-hmm. That was a highlight for me.
That's one of my favorite reveals ever because of the live orchestra. It's hard to match that, God. And I don't know that we'll ever get something like that again, honestly. E3 is never going to be that again, I don't think.
No, I know. I was just saying, it's just one of those things. I just hope that there's more of a separate air with that, considering how it's going to be a little bit tight, I would say. Mm-hmm. I do not think we will see PS1, PS2 backwards compatibility. I do think that dream is out the door. I'm sorry. I just think it's out. I don't know.
Let me give you guys in the chat another opportunity here, because it seems like you guys didn't understand that you could vote multiple times. So I'm actually going to extend this poll, because we're going to talk about this a little bit longer. I'm going to make this 4 minutes instead. And guys, don't forget, you can vote as many times as you want. 10 times to be exact.
I'm dead.
You're dead?
I think
Why
I'm
you
dead.
dead?
Or your stream crashed for me for a second.
Oh, okay.
Nope, we're good. We're good now, I think. We're good now.
Okay. I'm dead. I was like, wait, what? You're dead? All right.
Oh, I'm dead.
I'm gonna put this back in the chat for you guys. Hold on. Wait till it shows up in the chat. Vote again, up to 10 times. Let us know of these which you think will happen during next week's PS5 event. There we go.
Sorry.
And it is in chat. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I do think we will see Demon's Souls be announced as a launch title.
I think it will be launch window. And when I say window, I think it's going to be like first 3 months. I don't know that it's going to be like November, whatever launch. That would be freaking amazing if it is, though. If we get Miles Morales and Demon's Souls day one with Ratchet and Clank early next year, that is one of the best console launches I've ever seen.
And the other thing, too, it's really weird because since Godfall has now been confirmed to be a $60 game and everything like that, that kind of throws away my theory of it being a plus title. Which, I mean, if that game's a plus title, then holy shit, buckle up, everyone, again.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing that I've been hearing a lot of chitter chatter about is Miles being a plus title.
That would be a megaton. That would be a gigaton.
Like, I mean, let's be real. Like, I think that would be like a holy moment. You know,
I think so. I agree, 100%. I don't think they can do it, honestly.
No, but the thing is, the game's only $40,
mm-hmm.
and it's like considered like an expansion of the first game. It's not considered like a complete sequel. So it's like originally what Lost Legacy was to Uncharted. Like, I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to happen either, but I'm just saying if that happens.
I agree. You're going to see some faces made on my end. You're not going to be quite sure what emotions being shared, but I can tell you it'll be euphoria, I think is the word for it if that gets announced. Let me go down the list here myself of these, and I'll tell you guys what I think is actually going to happen. I agree with you on factions. I think that's just like a blog post or like a trailer dropped out of nowhere. I don't think that needs to be here. I do think we're going to get Final Fantasy 16. I don't think we're going to get 7 Remake anything, honestly. I think we'll just get Final Fantasy 16 and that's it. I'm going to say yes. I think God of War 2 will get a 30-second crazy end of show reveal.
Oh my god.
I'm going to say
Oh
yes.
my god.
Silent Hill, I think, will be there. PS1, PS2 backwards compatibility, I think, is a pipe dream. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we'll get a UI presentation that's short, but they're going to also say something like, hey, if you want to see a more in-depth UI presentation, it's been uploaded to YouTube for you guys to check out following the show. Something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Something that's going to be, you know, a deep dive into the UI for us to check out. Price and date, yes. 100%. We are getting price and date. There's no way in hell we're not getting price and date. We'll talk about what we think the price and date will be in a moment. Studio acquisition, I think the only one that's possible is Bluepoint. I think if they do show off Demon's Souls with like a gameplay presentation, which I think is a possibility, same with Miles Morales, I think we could get like short, like 4 or 5 minute gameplay presentations on both of those. I think there's a possibility they do that. They say, oh, and by the way, it's at launch. Oh, and by the way, we bought Bluepoint. They're a part of our studios now. I could see that potentially happening.
I can't remember, just remind me real quick, did the Demon's Souls trailer have the PlayStation Studios banner in front of it?
It did. Yes.
It did? Okay, never mind then. I was going to say, because that would be like kind of a really interesting thing there too, if like you see that where it's just like, oh shit. But I guess because Japan Studio is helping them. And then the PS Now refresh, do you think they're going to combine that with Plus? Do you think that's going to be like their big push to combat Game Pass?
I put that in there because it does seem like there's a lot of people expecting something from PS Now. Like they need to respond to Game Pass. Here's the thing. I don't think they need to respond to Game Pass.
They don't.
They don't. They don't. I really don't think they do. Will they?
Probably.
Maybe in a minor capacity. I don't think it's going to be what a lot of people are projecting. Like, oh, they're going to start putting first-party titles there day one. And no, I don't think it's going to be anything like that. I could see them merging PS Plus and PS Now for like a discount, like say it's $100 for both of them a year or something like that. I could see that happening. Something like you save $20 if you are a part of both. Because right now there's nothing like that, right? Am I correct on that?
No, there isn't anything like that. There's no combo deal for what you are describing.
I saw in the chat nobody voted for factions. I don't think. Of course,
Yeah.
Price and Date won, but it was pretty widespread. There were votes all over there. So there's some expectations for this event here, Vince. There's some high expectations, I want to say.
Here's my thing. This is what I want to see from the Price and Date. And here's I'm gonna make sure everyone realizes this. I am with Drew on the $399, $499 price point. Okay, I am there.
I was gonna say that's what I'm saying. I'm still in on that. I'm saying $399, $499.
I'm with him on that 100%. It makes the most sense. It fits in all the financials and everything like that. But what I want to see, again, just for the sheer insanity that would be the internet, is I want to see those prices announced, side by side, like they did for the hardware reveal.
Yeah.
But then I want those prices to disappear, and then it be $449 and $349, and just have all hell break loose, and we all flip shit.
I get it. It would be just a total shit ton moment. But have you seen some of the stuff coming out this week, specifically Dust Golem, that is saying that the production cost of PS5 is $600? I don't believe him personally.
No,
not that I don't believe him.
600 yen. 6,000 yen is what he did. He heard that
60,000, you mean?
Yeah, 60,000.
That's exactly what I was going to get to. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
There are no developers right now that know the price of PS5.
Right.
That would be my guess. I don't know that. Obviously, I'm not an insider. But my guess, my assumption would be there's not a single developer right now that knows the price of PS5. That is a, for your eyes only, like internal, high up, executive decision that only they know. The fact that it hasn't leaked, I think, tells us that's the case. This thing would have leaked already if any developers knew the price of this thing. So this guy that he is using, his Capcom source, he might think it's going to be 60,000 yen or whatever, but he has no idea. So I would say no, I don't think it's going to happen. Of course, Bloomberg earlier this year said that the BOM on PS5 is $450. That probably doesn't include the controller. What do you think? I don't think that
it did include the controller.
Wow, did it really?
It did.
That seems cheap to me. $450 for this thing.
Because the if I remember right, the Series X BOM was 480,
70. Oh, really? Even that high?
Oh wait, no, I'm misremembering. You're right. It was 470.
I thought it was 470.
There's a $20 difference. Here's the thing too. Going back to like your little point too. What's his name? The head of Sony's marketing. He actually didn't see the design of the PS5 until Jim showed it in a vault. Like he had no idea either.
Yep.
So like
it's kind of unbelievable actually how tight Sony's ship has been especially during COVID, because that's got to be tough as shit. You got all these people working at home. You're probably transmitting a lot of information by email. It's honestly insane that we didn't get a leak for the price of this thing already. Now there have been things that are coming out. For instance, I don't know where it was. I think it might have been a Spanish retailer, a very large Spanish retailer that had internal log of prices, SKUs, and it was two code names. Didn't say PS5, but two code names, and of course they were listed for $399 and $499. So there is definitely some smoke here.
Definitely some smoke. Yeah, I agree with you.
A lot of people are saying though, why would they ever do a $100 deficit just for getting rid of the Blu-ray drive? And I just want to kind of wring those people's necks. I'm sorry to anybody in chat that might feel that way. Production cost means absolutely nothing, really, in the end, for how they want to price this thing. Because they're going to price a thing, most importantly, based on what they think people are going to pay for it. Right. That's what matters. And the appearance of the digital version versus a physical version is going to be, for most consumers, I can play 4K Blu-rays on this thing. This thing also includes a 4K HDR Blu-ray player, as well as my ability to play disc games and sell back disc games. That is 100% worth $100 to a shit ton of people. I can guarantee you that. There are a lot of people that would spend $100 more just for a 4K Blu-ray player added onto that. So honestly, if it is $300, $4.99, $4.99. I still think most people will go for the $4.99 version of this thing. That will be the more
Right.
popular SKU. But yeah, I think there's 100% a possibility that they go with a $100 difference between the two of these.
Yeah, and the other thing too, people don't. A lot of people don't really put this together because they're like, well, people don't buy games digitally and everything like that. COVID's kind of changed that a little bit. But the other thing too, digital consoles make the most markup in is everything else. Add-on DLC, microtransactions, all that stuff. Sony gets a cut from all that type of stuff. The nice thing too is once you lock your consumer into saying you buy Factions, say like Factions is a $60 game. Let's be real here. It's probably not going to be, but like say Factions is a multiplayer game that you can either buy a disc version for 60 or a digital version for 60. Most people are going to buy that game digitally, so you're going to actually make more of a money. Sony will make more money from that way too, because they cut out the entire middleman on that entire aspect. And then the game has microtransactions. They make money on all of that every single time. Like that's the benefit of a digital console. That's why the Series S is a benefit for digital console for Game Pass and things like that, because that's where Microsoft is pushing that for. So yeah, they will definitely do a $100 deficit because sure, they might not see that in the short term, but in the long term, that's where like PSN will make the most money for them. And that's where it's consistently making the most money for them. What was it, like some billions this last quarter?
That's the thing. Sony is in better shape than they've been since the very end of the PS2 generation. They are in a great position right now to be able to take a loss on this thing. They will. They're going to take a loss. The question is how much of a loss they're willing to take. It will be enough to at least match Microsoft. I would be absolutely shocked if the physical edition of PS5 is anywhere higher than $500. I would be absolutely shocked. I think they will match that no matter what, even if it means a $100 loss. That's the question, is like, how much of a loss is it? And would they be willing to go above $100 if it meant that they could do $449, $399, or $449, $349? The shit ton moment that Vince wants so badly. I don't think that they would do that myself, but
I mean,
I don't think there's a reason for it. Why do it? It doesn't seem they're going to sell these consoles out no matter what.
The 350 though completely negates the Series S.
I agree.
Completely negates.
But they're going to sell out PS5 no matter what.
But again, too, they've also upped their production to 10 million.
They did.
So Jim has always indicated that they want this transition between generations to be the fastest they've ever seen. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, if you see a PS5 console for $349, even if it's only digital, and you see the physical edition only being $449, like, I don't know, it's only $50 more than what you got your PS4 Pro for, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal.
I think parents going into the store this holiday, if they can go into the store, to get their son or daughter a console, I do think that a lot of them would see the Series S at $299 and the PS5 at $399 and say, okay, I'm going to go with the Series S. But I think anybody that really calls themselves a gamer, I think $100 is, in the long run, worth it to have a console that almost has 3 times the GPU power of the other. And I don't know. I feel like if PS5 is $399, I think that's an amazing value. And that alone, I think, doesn't fully negate the Series S, but I think for a lot of people it would.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. Let's be real. I totally agree with you. I'm just saying, like, that $349 price point, that is the Megaton Black Magic moment of, holy shit, they did it. Violent Sony came out and
you guys are gonna see me pass out on stream. I'm gonna like fall out of my chair if that gets announced at $349 for the digital edition.
Let's be real. It won't. It's not going to be.
I say there's a less than 1% chance of that happening.
Yeah. No, I would say there's less than a 0.0002% chance.
Wow. Very specific. Very, very specific.
You know me. Always.
Yeah. All right, we should probably move on. I did turn off audio hooks, Hetman. I'm going to be turning off audio hooks from now on, guys, during the Level Up show.
Thank you, the Night Fox.
Yeah. No, it's not his fault. Just in general, I should. And honestly, I might even start turning off like alerts in general. But there's a reason for that, which I'll talk about more in the coming months. But I think it will overall improve the archives of this show. If we don't have all these different sound effects and read out messages and all that. As much as I do appreciate that, I think with how sparingly we do the level up show anymore. Having one night where we turn that stuff off and just focus on talking games, I think is okay.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
I
But
agree with you.
moving on to the next story. Cyberpunk 2077 will have microtransactions, which is really upsetting a lot of people. But they did say, CD Projekt Red, that they will be, quote, aggressive. IGN writes, in an earnings call, CEO Adam Kaczynski was asked how aggressive the studio plans to be with multiplayer monetization in Cyberpunk 2077. Quote, we're never aggressive towards our fans. We treat them fairly, and we're friendly. So of course not, we won't be aggressive, but you can expect great things to be bought, Kaczynski explained. The goal is to design monetization in a way that makes people happy to spend money. I'm not trying to be cynical or hide something. It's about creating a feeling of value. Kaczynski notes that Cyberpunk is, quote, a great setting for selling things, end quote, but that the studio's approach won't upset gamers, end quote. The studio's Twitter account later clarified his position on Twitter in light of Kaczynski's comments, making clear that the game's single-player portion will be entirely microtransaction-free. Finally saying, Cyberpunk 2077 is a single-player game with 0 microtransactions, one single purchase, no tricks. The account noted that Cyberpunk's multiplayer component will feature some microtransactions as previously revealed. I'm not surprised at this. Are you surprised?
Does it matter? No, I wasn't.
No.
I was like, after seeing everything that happens with GTA Online and this being its own separate multiplayer release, I was like, I'm expecting this to be insane.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
I don't get the whole, oh my god, it has microtransactions, let me freak out thing. It's just like, it doesn't affect you. It really doesn't.
I think they might have said that for single player, but I don't recall them ever saying that there wouldn't be microtransactions for the multiplayer portion.
That's what they said. They said initially that there was no microtransactions in Cyberpunk 2077. That's what they said.
Oh,
because
okay.
Cyberpunk 2077 is the single player experience. The multiplayer title that is based on the Cyberpunk 2077 narrative and world will have its own separate title or subtitle.
Almost like GTA Online is its own thing.
That's the difference. That's the big difference. There's no microtransactions in GTA 5 unless you play GTA Online. That's the difference there. That's the stupid deal of it. There's no microtransactions in Red Dead 2 unless you play RDR Online. Then your microtransactions there. It's just a slight deviation, but since everyone sees Cyberpunk 2077, let's freak out.
Yeah.
Because CD Projekt Red's going to rake us over the coals. The developer that gave 12 pieces of DLC for free for their one big RPG.
I know, right? Yeah, I agree with you there. I put a poll in the chat because I got to admit, I'm as time has passed, I find my hype for this game going lower and lower and lower. Not because they're doing anything wrong. Maybe it was the delays.
You don't have time.
I don't have time. And what I see of it just isn't scratching an itch for me very much. So that's just a personal thing. Like, if I had to rate my hype right now, it's like right down the middle. I'm like a 5, I would say. But I'm curious, what about you, Vince? Like, what's
10.
You're 10? Yeah, you're all the way up there?
This is the only game that can compete with Last of Us Part 2 for me. In the sense of, this is the game changer. This is a game that's going to change game development. Like, that's this type of game. This is pretty much like Ghost. This is everything I've wanted from a game. A cyberpunky world, that digital future, the upgrades, all the story content, this kind of immersive sim, like the whole detective aspect too with the brain syncing. I don't know. Like there's a lot that I'm excited for, but I'm keeping that like separate from myself in a way. Like I'm not even worried about it right now because like I can't get overhyped. I can't do it. So I know if I get overhyped, the game's not gonna reach that level for me. It's the same approach I did with Last of Us Part 2 in a way, and I think that worked out perfect. But there's just a lot here that I'm looking forward to playing and diving in and exploring and just even being on stream and going to a bar in the game and being like, I wonder what shit we can get into by being here and just observing. Like that's the type of stuff that excites me about this game.
I think it's going to be a fantastic game. Don't get me wrong. I think especially for people that can put the time in, it's going to do very well. And I don't just say that or hope for that because it's on my Game Critics, fantasy draft. But
I don't care about that anymore.
I don't care about that anymore. No, I do. I do want it to do well for that reason. But I want it to be great like The Witcher is great. Because it took me a long time to finally get around to The Witcher. But when I did, I was feeling it. I was, in agreement. Yeah, this is one of the best games of the generation. I think Cyberpunk 2077, when it all, is said and done, I think it'll also be right up there with The Witcher 3. I hope for that.
Yeah.
You guys overall voted very high. Lots of 8s, 9s, and 10s. 9 won overall, but I did see 8s, 9s, and 10s. Vince, I don't think voted, but he also would have been a 10.
Yeah, so I always forget to vote in the actual
You're good,
polls.
man.
My bad.
You're good. You're good. We got something of a bummer story here that I want you to
Oh
take, Vince.
God, I hate this. I hate everything about this, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
So guys, 505 games, guys, 505 guys.
505 guys.
505 games lies about deluxe digital upgrade, accidentally provides it and then revokes it. And the only game we're talking about here, gang, it's Control. So this is from VG24-7 writes, 505 Games has done something that said it couldn't be done. Earlier this week, a number of players who own Control's Deluxe Edition reported that the game's recently released Ultimate Edition was seemingly stealthily added to their PlayStation Network libraries. Upon visiting the Ultimate Edition's page on the PlayStation Store, they agree with a download button rather than a purchase button. Others, who own the base game and Season Pass, also saw the same option to download. A large enough number of players were affected that many shared the good news on Resetera and Twitter. None of those people actually bought the Ultimate Edition, but everyone assumed publishers 505 had granted them access given that they had already owned all its content, having purchased it separately as part of a Deluxe Edition puzzle. So here's the thing. Let's just make sure we clear this up here a bit. So when Control launched, you had the base game, and then you had the Digital Deluxe Edition, which I think was only available on PlayStation, if I remember correctly, which was a combination of the Season Pass, some pre-order content, and some additional things. So it gave you the 2 expansion packs, the base game, and a couple other cosmetics, right? That's what the Deluxe Edition was. So 505 recently announced a Ultimate Edition, which is the exact same thing. But that's what it is. It's the Ultimate Edition. It's the exact same thing. If you can't follow this, that's why it's confusing as shit.
Yeah.
So the reason why everyone was up in a big shitstorm about this was because someone like me, who bought the Digital Deluxe Edition of the game, I don't have the PS5 version. The PS5 version is only available to someone who buys the Ultimate Edition. Anyone following what's making on here? So this is what's getting weird here. So then this appears to only have happened in the PlayStation Store and not in every region. Unfortunately, it was a mistake, as the purchase button has now reappeared, crushing their hopes of a free next-gen upgrades.
It's not as simple as flipping a switch. Flip switch.
Yeah, it's not as simple as flipping the switch as I flip the switch.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it doesn't look good for 505 Games, who went to great lengths to try and explain why there was nothing that could be done to convert Deluxe Edition into Ultimate, leaving those players behind. Accidental or not, this at least proves that the very thing 505 Games said wasn't possible was in fact possible. For reference, the content is identical across the Deluxe and Ultimate Editions, but only the latter offers a free next-gen upgrade. Existing owners, even if they already have access to the same content, will need to buy the Ultimate Edition if they're looking to play the game on PS5 or Xbox Series XS. So here's my thing. I'm not buying the Ultimate Edition. Why? Because fuck you, 505. I'm not doing it.
That's how I feel. I really was planning on buying this game very recently because it wasn't going to happen in Shocktober, but I was planning on filling in some month or drought with Control next year. And now I'm like, do I want to do that? I mean, this is 505 Games. It's not Remedy. I fully believe this is the publisher and their
Well,
decision.
we now know why Remedy pretty much bounced with them and went to Epic, I would assume, because they're not part of them anymore. Like, because I can only imagine that this must have been the shit they had to deal with constantly. Like,
yeah, probably. It's a bummer. It's a real bummer because for starters just sucks because it's anti-consumer, right? Our favorite word. But it also sucks because it shines a bad light on Remedy when perhaps they don't deserve that.
And the other thing that really sucks too is the game wasn't a massive seller to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Like it did well because of the Epic Game Store exclusive deal and the other publishing deal and then the Sony marketing deal. I mean, that's how Remedy was. They had other money from the stuff they did with Microsoft, but that's what helped them keep the lights on. That's what helped them develop this game. Let's be real here. Yeah. So to kind of have this whole thing thrown back at them to where you have a bunch of people like someone like me who's like, I played your game day one. I played it on stream, even though I'm not a big enough streamer to really get any weight to that. I still played it. I'm not buying your game a second time. Like, as much as I like it, as much as I want to see the ray tracing and all the upgrades and the SSD stuff for the PS5, I'm just going to read that from Digital Foundry, Right. Like, I'm not going to experience that for myself because I'm not buying this game twice. I would have bought a $10 upgrade fee if that was what was needed. And the fact that it's
Sure.
like, nope, you need you to pay $40, I'm like, I'm not doing it. I paid you $89 initially. I'm not doing this, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
So it
I don't know.
sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna need
505,
something
add 'em
to
the
bring
list.
me back on their side. Add 'em to the list. Vince, I am sorry in advance for what is about to happen.
This.
I'll be ready! Oh, don't you fear! Forever and always, I'm always here! Yeah!
Jeez.
Guys, it is time for some delay watch.
Oh no.
We got two delays. Two delays this month for you guys. No More Heroes 3 has been delayed to 2021. All staff members at Grasshopper have been working as hard as possible on developing the game in hopes of releasing it in 2020, but the effects of COVID-19 pandemic have unfortunately proven to be a real body blow to our schedule, causing unforeseen delays in development, said Suda. Now that we have managed to get back on our feet with development, we have decided to focus on prioritizing quality and to therefore push back the final release date. Very sorry once again. We hope that everyone who has been waiting patiently for No More Heroes 3 can understand and accept this decision, and we will continue to be to put every effort into the title's development as we shoot for 2021 release date. Gotta say, I have no interest in this game.
Yeah,
I think
actually,
some do, right?
I didn't even know it was delayed until I look at the so you guys saw your outline. I was like, oh shit, that was delayed.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
Yeah, there was, I think, an E3 2019 trailer, and then there was that super bizarre Game Awards, like 5-minute trailer that didn't have anything that actually looked like No More Heroes. It was some weird anime video, and then at the end it was like, oh, wait, this is No More Heroes. So I can't like wrap my head around this game. Like, I don't really know what it is. I've never played either of the prequels to this, but I guess sympathetic to those that were excited to get No More Heroes 3, and hope you can wait until next year for it. I think you're going to be dealing with that a lot, maybe moving into the holidays, because we got another one as well, and this one's a bummer to me.
This one's a big bummer.
Kana, Bridge of Spirits, has been delayed to 2021 as well. They said, this year has brought many challenges, and our transition to working from home has caused development to move slower than we hoped. For this reason, we have made the difficult decision to delay the release of Kena Bridge of Spirits to Q1 of 2021. We have not made this decision lightly, but feel it is best for the game and well-being of the team. We will use this time to give the game the polish it deserves and deliver an experience that meets our vision and your expectations. So again, COVID related. I think especially for smaller teams, I could see that being the culprit moving into the ending part of this year from many developers, as I'm sure we'll see more delays. This kind of sucked though, because it came right on the end of a month of details within Game Informer. That was their cover story. And we did get some information from that. So I figured we also would take this opportunity to talk a little about Kena, one of my most anticipated games for the PS5. First off, the PS5 version is taking advantage of that SSD and other, qualities to up the amount of tiny creatures can be on screen simultaneously. In this game, they're called Rot. Those adorable little creatures you see right now. Those are called Rot, and on PS5, you can have 100 of those on screen at once. That's pretty cool. And the Rot is a combat mechanic as well as a puzzle mechanic. So, you can use them to traverse the environment. You can send them to maybe pull on something or put their weight on something. That they're going to be used in various ways. Oh, Fair the Tom, thank you so much for the resub or the first sub.
What
are we
up,
at?
friends?
We're up to 3 months. So so we're at a resub for Fair. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Tom. Welcome to the show. Another thing we found out, this is amazing. PS5 will go from a cold boot of the system to in-game in 2 seconds.
That's insane.
2 seconds. That is absolutely insane.
I can't make a sandwich at that time anymore. That's what I'm used to. I'm used to being able to go and make a sandwich while a game loads.
What's kind of crazy to me is, and I'm not trying to shit on Xbox, but I thought it was funny reading this and being like, holy shit, 2 seconds. And then they had that Xbox Series S video where they were showing off the improved loading times on, I want to say it was the Outer
Outer
Worlds.
Worlds, yeah, it went to like a 12 point. It went from like a 60 odd second thing to like a 12.7 seconds.
Yeah, and I was watching and I was like, this doesn't feel very quick to me. I was like, 12 seconds? It's not long, but it felt long.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny is I remember. Do you remember this initially when they had their? It was January when they first showed off the Series X SSD, and I was like, I'm not impressed, and everyone was like, what the shit? Well, how you mean you're not impressed? I was like, it took it like 10 seconds. It's still not impressive to me.
Yeah, that was a shooter game. I can't remember what that was, but I think it might have been Division or something. I can't remember.
It was Gears, I think.
Was it? I agree. Like, if you're gonna show it off, I think you've got to show off 2 seconds, 5 seconds. You know, like that's where you're like, oh my god, what a difference. Because 12 seconds, I feel like is something I already experienced. I get that it's like a 20% of what Outer Worlds typically is, but I'm not thinking that when watching that. I'm thinking 12 seconds. I deal with 12-second loading times all the time this generation.
Right.
Already. For God's sake, Ghost of Tsushima, we can fast travel in like 5.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing, for sure.
Kana will have a voice in the game.
Yay.
Which is cool. So for cinematic purposes, that's kind of cool to know. But I thought it was also an interesting little tidbit to know that the same actress that is a singer on several songs for the soundtrack is also the voice of Kana. So that's cool.
Ooh.
They said that the game is inspired by 3D Zelda. I definitely would have assumed that. Looking at the trailer, it felt very Zelda inspired. They said that rot are like Pikmin. They can't die and will stay in your collection, so you don't have to worry about that. They can help you in traversal, puzzles, activate magic powers in combat, and more. Game is intended to be finished comfortably over a weekend.
I like that.
Yeah, so what do you think? Like a 6-hour experience, something like that?
6 hours. I'm saying, if they're saying comfortably over a weekend, I'm thinking more like a 12-hour experience. Something.
You think that's comfortable? I guess if you take it 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that could be.
That's what I'm saying. Comfortable is like, I think they're saying like someone who's not playing it back from start to back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm thinking someone who is, I'm going to play this for 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day. You know, like 12 being the maximum, the speed run, like the old Metal Gear games, you know, where like that initial like long term is that, but then you have that speed run. It's like, oh my God, 50% reduction. Something like that is what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking 6 to 8 myself, but I also think the game, they said it won't be a full price $60 game. I'm thinking it's going to be like $30 to $40 for this game.
40 sounds right.
Yeah. Also very exciting for me. I think you guys know after The Last of Us, this is one of my favorite new ways to approach the world. Wide linear world. I like that. I'm a fan of the wide linear world approach. So, Kina, you are still very high on my list of PS5 games, especially PS5 exclusive games.
Yes.
Although it will come out on PS4 as well.
It will.
It is a multi-generational title. So that's exciting. And the final story of the level update. We got a rumor for you guys. Go ahead,
I got this. So, Nintendo developers have been told to make their games 4K ready. Oh Nintendo Life writes, rumors of a Switch Pro refuse to go away, with Bloomberg now reporting that Nintendo has told third-party developers to ensure their future titles are 4K ready. Yet another big hint that the more powerful Switch variant is on the way. The report claims that sources are outside game developers and that are familiar with Nintendo's plans. Thanks, VGC, and adds weight to the claim that new Switch will be capable of 4K visuals. However, it's speculated this will be achieved using NVIDIA's DLSS AI upscaling techniques rather than a pure 4K output. This process, which grants high-resolution visuals with little wave performance hit, is used in NVIDIA's Shield hardware, which is based on the same internal architecture as the Switch. Rumors of the Switch Pro have been circulating around for quite some time now, with several senior analysts and journalists predicting the new models on the way. Most recently, we saw reports from Taiwan that new models in production will launch in 2021 alongside major software releases.
So first off, poll in the chat, how much would you guys pay for a 4K Switch Pro? But I think we also need to determine, what does that mean? In my mind, it's kind of like the Series S to Series X, where it just plays Switch games, and the only difference is that they're in 4K. Really?
I mean, do you think it's a portable console?
Yes. I don't think they... Honestly, I don't see them going away from the hybrid approach maybe ever. I don't know. That is working so incredibly well for them that I'm not sure they'll ever go away from that.
I don't know, because you have the Switch who does both. Then you have the Switch Lite who is just portable. I almost think a Pro model being just desktop That sounds great to me. I would much.
That's a good
prefer-
point to have.
I
Like,
would much prefer it to be just a box that I put on my desk and that's it. I would much prefer that, but I'm okay if it's not. I want to be clear with that. I'm okay if it's not. I would just
I would have
prefer it that way.
preferred that option from the very beginning of Switch, even if it was just to do 1080p myself, because
Yeah.
I never play that thing on the go. So even if it was just $50 less to get rid of the dock and a couple cables, I don't know if they could get it down $50, so I could just connect it to my TV or to
Mhm.
my Elgato. I probably would jump on that because yeah, I've played that thing one time portably, and it's when I went to TwitchCon. That was the only time. So
It's too small for me. It's too small for me in portable. I really can't play it in portable. It cramps my hands.
yeah, it doesn't help either for me because my Joy-Cons broke. So
Oh, drift.
I've got the Switch Pro controller now, at least. So I can do
Yay.
that upstairs. Guys didn't vote too much, but you guys said $300 for a 4K Switch. If it is desktop only, if you want to call it that, like TV only, do you think they could pull that off? Do you think they could get away with a $300 Switch?
I think they could, especially if it's going to be featuring the DLS AI techniques. I think it could pull it off very well, and that's where I think, from a power consumption wise, that would make more sense to me. I guess I really haven't read up that the NVIDIA Shield does that, to be honest. I actually had no idea. I thought that they did that with their streaming stuff because that was like how everything worked, but I did not know the Shield itself in tablet mode, I guess, was actually like that. So that's
Yeah.
news to me. I honestly, and I'd prefer it because Nintendo absolutely hates anti-aliasing. I don't know why, but they hate it. They never do it in any of their games. I don't get it. So it would actually be super nice, especially for with Sunshine on the way. Sunshine, my favorite Mario game, on the way. I would love to play that game in 4K and listen to all those tunes.
I will be honest, I forgot to throw that into our agenda today. We had the announcement of the 35th anniversary
Of
Super
Mario.
Mario collection. It's going to include Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and it's going
Yes!
to include the original, the first, Super Mario Galaxy. So the Super Mario 64, I believe, is going to be 720p. Unfortunately, is not widescreen. It's still going to be 4:3 aspect ratio. But
All right, wait,
Sunshine,
is that confirmed?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Sunshine does go widescreen. I think
Yes.
that one might go up to 1080. I think that one might go up to 1080, and Galaxy I think might go up to 1080. But
I just wanna
how do
play
you feel about this?
Sunshine,
It's
man.
a good opportunity to talk about their approach to remasters and remakes, if you want to call it that. This is a generation and a year where we've seen the last couple of years Crash Bandicoot get a full-on refresh, reskin, Shadow of the Colossus, Final Fantasy VII remake, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and then you've got Super Mario 64, and it just looks a little bit sharper.
It's
Does that bother
weird
you at all?
because it doesn't bother me with that game because I also kind of think it's one of those things where if they even would have touched it, you'd have had the pitchforks out. They would have been ready to go.
What if they didn't
I
change
think-
the physics at all, and they also gave you the option to click a button and it switches back to the original?
I mean, I think that's what it would be. I don't think it was really delved in that long. I think the only thing we would have seen something like a complete remaster is if we would have saw that like with Link's Awakening, where we would have saw that entire stylistic retake on that.
Yeah.
Again, that didn't really sit through well with a lot of fans. No, I shouldn't say a lot of fans. With some
Yeah, I
fans.
wasn't a big fan of that artistic style, I'll admit, but I still had a great time with that game. That was a good time.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm okay with it. I think the strategy of it being locked away is kind of interesting. I was like, wow, they're really Disneying this whole thing. So that's interesting.
They've been milking Mario dry for God.
I mean, but let's be real.
decades.
Let's talk about this more like an overall aspect. This is a game, a collection of, let's say, the two biggest Mario games. If you say 64 and Galaxy, Sunshine's the better game in my opinion. But I really didn't play. I didn't
I
really
haven't
play
played
Galaxy.
Sunshine.
I didn't play Galaxy too much because Galaxy didn't click with me. Sunshine was GameCube given to me as an early Christmas present. It was the Platinum Sunshine one. That was the game that we kept when we wanted to go up to the mall and the bookstore. That was the game I was playing the demo kiosk on. I love Sunshine. I have an affiliation with water too. So like that entire game is literally what I love. I love the flood mechanics and everything like that. To me, that was my Mario game. That was like, some people were like, that was Super Mario Bros. And everything like that. Mario Sunshine was my Mario game.
That's
that was
fascinating.
And I know it's a hot take. It's a hot take. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm in a very much a minority opinion saying that I love Sunshine more than any other Mario game. I get that, and you guys can mock me for it. I'm fine with it. But again, this is a game that's going to lock those games. If you don't buy it between September 18th and March something, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I think it's a weird strategy. Like, how do you feel about that?
How do I feel about what?
How do you feel about the entire game? This All-Stars game will be gone, as in you cannot buy it in March.
I forgot about that aspect. That's
interesting.
The Disney Vault approach. I was almost wondering, like, why do you say Disney? I was a little confused there for a sec. I thought you were talking about like milking the character dry and all that. I forgot about the Vault aspect.
Which they are. But
they
the
are.
Vault
They 100%
is
are.
what I was talking about that.
I think it's super bizarre. I don't quite understand it because this thing would probably sell well long after this March date that they've arbitrarily put on it. I from a business perspective, even, I don't quite understand what they're going for here. I'm assuming they're going to release it from the vault again and try and, act like kind of like the faux shortages that they're always blamed on with Switch, where they're trying to build hype through these faux things. It's almost like maybe the vault is their next approach to building up hype. It's like, it's gone, but it'll come back in November, and this is your only chance. Once again, you have 1 month to get this game. Like, maybe they're going to do that. I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know why. I don't
like it. I don't like it at all. People are comparing it. Like, imagine if like Insomniac announced that Miles Morales is only available until the end of the year. Like, who would benefit from that? That doesn't make any sense to anybody.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you ever do that? This thing is going to sell well long after the end of the year, and the consumers, of course, get screwed over as a result as well. Super duper bizarre. Guys, we got to do some wheel spins because we got a lot of support. We got so much support. We had 20 gifted subs happen during this little segment here. But first
we
up,
did.
Yeah, that's where we started, actually. Let's start with that. I'm going to do a spin of the Marballs wheel for that, which we can do an after show. How about that? Does that sound good?
Let's do it.
All right, hold on. Let's go to the $50 Marballs wheel. Speaking of, guys, we already have 30-minute after show, which is whatever you guys want it to be. There's, we can talk about anything and everything.
Whatever.
We can dive deeper into these stories tonight, or we can listen to some music and just hang out and play some marbles. But if you guys want it to be a full hour, we just need $28 more in tips tonight, and we will activate the 60-minute after show, which will include this round of marbles. We're going to do a race for 1,000 XP during our little after show tonight. And I think... Nope, we do have a couple more spins as well after that. We had a resub from Tom. And we just had a follow as well from Bad76. Thank you so much for the follow.
Ooh.
Bad, welcome to the show. Anybody else that's new here, hope you are enjoying the stream. Hit that heart button. Become a part of this community. Get on our Discord as well. Discord.gg/the Level Up Network. Got a great community. We're trying to hold on to partnerships, so we need more people to join us on Discord. I'm going to give 100 XP to the room on that instead of 95 because I'm nice like that. And you know what? We've already given out a lot of subs tonight, but I haven't specifically. So let's start a sub gift giveaway. This is for non-subs only. If you're already a sub, please do not get in on this. We'll let it run for 5 minutes during this commercial break about to happen. Type in !sub gift in chat to get in on that raffle. And let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to do a quick trailer of the week reaction. And then we're also going to get into the roundup on the show, the rapid fire news roundup. So hold on tight, Bad76. We'll be back in approximately 90 seconds. Welcome back, Level Uppers, to the Level Up Show, episode 298. This is a gaming dedicated talk show on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're enjoying the stream, I hope you guys are. Like Bad76, hit that follow button here at twitch.tv/levelupshow. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get those alerts whenever I go live. Wednesdays with Variety Gaming and Sundays typically with Variety Gaming. But of course, we have talk shows like this one here. The Level Up Show, around for almost 7 years now. Coming up on episode 300, a very big one with some huge announcements coming your way in the next month or two. So definitely become a part of this community. Get on our Discord as well. Discord.gg/the Level Up Network. Prize wheel is active. Anything worth $5 or more will get you a spin of the prize wheel. We've had amazing support tonight. We had 20 gifted subs from Anonymous. That is unbelievable. We also had a almost $30 tip from King Kurd activating our 30-minute after show, and we will turn that into a 1 hour after show where we can just chat with you guys about anything and everything. So we need $28 more on the tip goal tonight, and we'll get in on that 60-minute after show. Right now, though, Vince, we're gonna watch a trailer. We're gonna watch it for the first time, actually.
First time, yay, we got it.
Nice. So both of us have not watched the Dune trailer yet, actually.
No.
Yeah,
Neither
and I'm
one of
excited
us.
about this. We were actually talking about it a little bit off stream on the commercial there. I have not seen Blade Runner 2049. But
So good.
I really, really like all of Dennis's other films. And I'm sure I
Yeah.
probably would like Blade Runner as well. I need to get around to seeing that. So I was very excited when he was brought on board for Dune. And then on top of that, the cast in this movie
It's massive.
It's ridiculous.
It's massive.
massive, just the most massive
It's
cast I've ever
insane.
seen.
Like, oh my god.
I don't know if that was Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know what that was there.
I don't know
But,
what it was. I don't care. It's just big.
Yeah, it's
Big,
just very
guys.
big, very big. So we are gonna do a quick reaction to this here. Vince, I will give you a 3, 2, 1, go, and when I say go, you just hit play on that thing. All right? You ready?
Yes. No.
All right.
Yes.
Yes. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh.
There's something happening to me. There's something awakening in my mind. I can't control it. What did you see? There's a crusade coming. Do you often dream things that happen just as you dreamed them? Yes. The test is simple. Remove your hand from the box, and you die. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
You inherit too much power. You have proven you can rule yourself. Now you must
Nice.
learn to rule others. Something none of your ancestors learned. My father rules an entire planet. He's losing it. He's getting a richer one. He'll lose that one too. Arrakis is a death trap.
Wow.
Dude, look at this movie.
Kill them.
Oh my god.
This is an extermination. They're picking my family off one by one.
Let's fight like demons.
An animal caught in a trap will gnaw off its own leg to escape. What will you do? I know you.
This music's awesome.
One day, the legend will be born. All of civilization depends on it. The future, I can see it. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer.
My Lord Duke.
Where the fear is gone, only I will remain.
Oh. Oh. Oh boy. Oh my. Oh. Oh man. Oh my god. Jesus. That was a very attractive looking movie.
Yeah, and I
So
love the
I don't know what I really honestly don't know what it's about. I've never read the book. I've never seen the original Dune. So looking at that, honestly, I don't really know what to take of it. But I do know one thing: that is a good looking movie right
it
there,
was a good fucking looking movie.
and a great put together trailer. The music,
Jesus.
everything, the way it's cut, beautifully cut trailer. That final shot there of the sandworm gave me goosebumps. That was really, really well done. As we said, holy shit at the cast in this movie. It's like how'd they get all these people involved? This has got one of the most epic scales I've seen for a movie in
Yeah.
quite a long time, especially when you take into account all the talent involved. Gent says, "Oh my God, watch the original." Should I though, Gent? With this one on the horizon, I feel like I should just wait for this one. I know, Avoid. I know. It's one of those films like I've always wanted to get around to seeing. It was kind of like Blade Runner, honestly. I didn't see the original Blade Runner until about 2 years ago. Finally, I watched it.
And what'd you think of that?
I liked it, but I definitely feel like it was one of those
It's
things
a
where
cult.
I was late to the boat. I was late to the boat, and it wasn't. I don't think as impactful as it would have been clearly if I saw it when it came out or when I was a child or anything like that. I thought it was good, but I will admit it didn't live up quite to the expectations that had been set by so many different people.
Well, which version did you watch? There's like 4 different versions of it.
I watched the. I want to say the director's cut.
Okay.
I watched the one that doesn't have his narration.
Okay, you're good then. I was making the joke of like, there's 4 different versions of the film to watch.
Oh yeah, I know there's a lot of different versions. Yeah. Scylla says, watch the sci-fi miniseries. I didn't even know there was a sci-fi miniseries. Really? Damn, I didn't know they did that. I feel like I'm just gonna wait for this. I love this director. He's absolutely fantastic. His track record. So why not just wait for him to tackle it? I'm assuming this is gonna be a multi-part movie series. There's no way to tackle it, right? Because there's at least what 3 books.
Yeah, I think so. Like there actually might be more. I think there's more than 3.
Oh yeah, because Scylla's just said the first 3 books. So there's more than 3 books.
Yeah. So I think it's weird that like, yeah, this has to be a multi-part film, which I guess I just hope it gets its budget back because that's what killed Blade Runner, which sucked. Blade Runner is such a great film that just didn't commercially do well.
Avoid, you unfortunately missed the clickbait title. We already had a big discussion on Series S and what its price means and what it means for PlayStation. We had a big discussion on that earlier on. You can check the archive if you want to see the full discussion. Sorry that you feel it's clickbait, but it is what it is. I mean, Series S versus PlayStation. What do they mean for each other? But yeah, this looks really fantastic. I'm excited, very excited. This is supposed to come out this year, I want to say, but I don't think it's going to anymore.
December 2016 or 15th.
Yeah,
no, 16th or 25th. I can't remember which one is it. It's Wonder Woman and this movie are a week apart.
As I said, I don't think Wonder Woman's gonna make this year as well. I think they're gonna keep pushing these back. Honestly, pretty far into next year. I think we got a while to wait before theaters are back to normal, if ever, as you brought up. There is no competition. Nvidia kills them both. I mean, Nvidia obviously always kills everything. That doesn't really mean much.
They kill everything they touch.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking console space, obviously. Completely different. And I think a lot of people just don't have any interest in the PC space. For the most part, I don't, honestly. Even with a pretty powerful PC now for streaming, I still prefer to play things on console for the convenience and all that. So that's just always going to be me, I think. I like the convenience of consoles. And I think at the start of a generation, too, console hardware is very impressive. Especially when you have a first-party studio developing to the metal, and really taking advantage of everything in the system,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was so good.
That was really
Can we watch
great.
that again?
I kind of want to. I'll watch it after the show. That was really, really great. I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh my God, yeah.
Big time. Wow, we got some edge in here. We got some hardcore edge. Look at this edge.
Ow, the edge.
So much edge. I just got cut, guys. I got cut hard on that edge. Anyway, guys, we do have a little bit left in the show here before we get into the after show. We got those little stories, and we actually got a bunch of little stories this week in a segment we here call the Rapid Fire News Roundup. Rapid Fire.
Very nice. You were rapid fire on that one.
I was so rapid fire on that one. First up in the rapid fire, a tiny little story. Nothing important here, you guys.
Nothing important at all.
But interesting that Ninja decided where his new home will be, and it is back on Twitch. Ninja's back on Twitch. I honestly didn't think he would go back to Twitch entirely. I thought there was a chance, but the more and more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, he really got wronged by Twitch, right? The way they handled that whole situation, I wasn't fond of.
No,
and I'm not big in the Ninja. I've never really watched him that much. I really admire his hustle. I will say that. But I think he kind of just wants to get back to normal, as I imagine the way he feels. Right?
Yeah, I think he's tired of everything.
Yeah, he just play some Halo Infinite when it comes out. Just go back to playing games, not worrying about that side of things. I think he's going to kind of take it easy and just bring things back to the to the way it used to be. So I mean, good for him.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot of Valorant and Among Us lately. I've not really seen him do Fortnite, which I thought was
and I think a little bit of Fall Guys too, right? Fall Guys.
A little bit of Fall Guys, yeah. I mean, I think him, Tim Tatman, and everything like that do that. But I was really kind of like, wow, Valorant Ninja, really? Okay.
And Among Us is really taking off right now. I know King Kurt suggested I play that in on our Discord. I'll take a look at it. I took a look at it yesterday to get a vibe for what it's about, but I don't really have a good handle on it yet, so I'll have to take a look at that one. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake was announced. We knew something was coming there. A lot of leaks regarding this. Got trailer up on screen right now. Here's what they had to say with regards to the backlash, actually. A lot of people took a look at this trailer and weren't too impressed by it. It's I would agree, it's not the most impressive looking game visually. Here's what they said. Quote, it's completely led by Ubisoft Pune, I'm not sure it's Pune, and Mumbai, says production director Sashi Menon. The advantage of working in a company like Ubisoft is we have a lot of support from experts around the studio, and that's something we always leveraged upon. But the development is completely led from here. It was not a problem of timeline or budget. For us at Ubisoft, quality is of the utmost importance, and this is something that we have kept in mind from the start. The project has been in development for the last 2.5 years. We have had a peak of 170 members working on the project, and not to mention other investments in infrastructure and setup to make a modern game. No, there has not been any cutback in budget or timeline on the game. So they're kind of saying that it's not an excuse, actually, for it to look this way because of, you know, budget restrictions or timeline restrictions or workforce restrictions. So I have to say, with them saying that, I do kind of wonder. You know, the artistic direction is one thing. They can make the game look the way it wants to look. I think they're trying to admire the original arts of, you know, the story and such. But there are a lot of things in this where I was like, there's not too much of an excuse for all these same NPC models and this crazy popping in the background, all this and that. I hope they're able to get that worked out at the least.
The thing that kills me about it is it's the Anvil engine. It's the old Assassin's Creed engine. The old Assassin's Creed engine.
Okay.
Because it's not Anvil Next. It's not that. It's the old one, I guess, is from what I understand, which has that problem with multi NPCs looking the same, the stiffness, the things like that. Yeah. It's one of those things that, like, they did show off another image of it, and the game looks a lot better. I'm kind of not sure why they decided that was the best time to reveal that, in the sense of how they did it. And Prince of Persia is not a demanding game to begin with. And this is only the first game, too. Like, I think there would have been more slack, or what's the word, I guess? There would have been more leeway with people if they would have announced all 3 games were being remade.
Yeah.
You know, because then at that point, then the scope of that makes more sense for a lot of people. Like, oh, okay, 3 games, I get it. It's not going to be consistent quality. But the fact that it's Sands of Time, which is a very beloved game by most people.
I think that was the start of Prince of Persia becoming, you know, a sort of a top-tier franchise for a certain length of time.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big game for the PS2 Xbox generation. That was a big game.
Definitely.
And then Warrior Within was actually the start of, or very close to the start of, the edgelord direction gaming went into. You know, that with the, you know, pretty much half-naked woman that you're running around with, the blood, the gore, everything like that. I mean, so it's crazy that those 2 games were on the precipice of, like, kind of like where modern gaming went. So it's just really weird. I hope they really get to fix it and the game comes out and it's good.
At least faithful to the original, still feels like the original, because it really, I think for a lot of people, that's all they need is a graphical update and for it to feel like the original, and they'll, you know, be able to put on those nostalgia glasses and enjoy themselves for you know, 12 hours or something like that. So yeah, I'm with you there. Nomura is already focused on the next big Kingdom Hearts game already.
Yay.
According to creative director
Melody of Memory?
According to creative director Tetsuya Nomura, the Kingdom Hearts team is already hard at work on a brand new title in the beloved RPG series, with the goal of launching the mystery title in 2022 to coincide with the franchise's 20th anniversary. He said, "I'm working hard toward the 20th anniversary. I myself have already switched to thinking about the next work. And the Kingdom Hearts team has already started working on something new. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory came just before we started working on the next title. So the main staff was able to assist. When we're able to announce something in the future, I think it will be full of surprises, so please look forward to it." In an additional interview with Nintendo Enthusiast, Nomura noted that it was unlikely that the original Kingdom Hearts titles will be ported over to Switch anytime soon. According to the director, the team has previously considered the option, but found the process of translating the classics to the Nintendo console technologically difficult. So that's a real bummer. Those games would really do well on Nintendo, I would imagine. Much better than they would do on Xbox. I always was very confused about those games being put on Xbox before being pushed on Nintendo. Clearly, it had to be a technological, barrier that stopped that. I wonder. I don't think this is going to be Kingdom Hearts 4, but I do wonder if it's sort of the precipice, or I should say, like the preface. I think is the better word for it, to the new trilogy or the new series, whatever you want to call it. Because Kingdom Hearts 3 was the end of the Xenohort saga, right? And I do think the post credits stuff at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 sets up what the future of Kingdom Hearts can be. I'm hopeful that it actually gets rid of all the Disney stuff, and that might sound almost blasphemous because that was what the franchise was built on. But I feel like the Disney aspect has been such a hindrance to Kingdom Hearts for quite a while now. And I'm not saying I like the Organization 13 stuff, because I don't like that. But what I'm talking about as a hindrance is that Disney is really difficult to work with when it comes to these games. There is so much quality control and back and forth to get these properties incorporated in a way that Disney is okay with. So they can avoid all of that if they make Kingdom Hearts moving forward a celebration of all things Square Enix. Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, Vagrant Story, Dragon Quest, like Parasite Eve, like who knows? Like there's so many different franchises that they could incorporate into Kingdom Hearts as worlds that you can travel through. Maybe even all the Final Fantasy franchise, games, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the different worlds. How cool would it be to travel throughout those in a world of Final Fantasy type way, but Kingdom Hearts style? I would be down for that myself.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think the Disney stuff is definitely kind of, it's starting to become less and less cool in a way. Like it was cool with number 1 and number 2. Yeah. And then you start doing it with Birth by Sleep in 365 and a half days, and then you did it for 3, and it was just kind of like, I want to know more about the actual Kingdom Hearts story. I want to know more about what's going on there. I'm cool with the Disney stuff being window dressing, but I want to see more of the fantasy stuff, the Final Fantasy stuff. I mean, I think that make their games more easy to work with. Like you could bring Donald and Goofy in there with that, and that's all you got to worry about. You don't need to worry about we need to copy Monsters Inc. entirely to make sure, like,
right. I'm not saying that you need to cut Disney out entirely, because I do think that like Goofy and Donald are sort of mainstays of Kingdom Hearts potentially at this point. But if the worlds that you're traveling to aren't Disney worlds, that would remove a major barrier in development, I would imagine. If you just have to worry about the representation of Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, then I think that would probably streamline things in a major way.
Well, geez, I can't talk right now. The best thing about if they streamline it too, like think about it, like say they do more of the Final Fantasy or Square Enix properties, and then they have like 3 big Disney worlds. That's whenever the companies can collab and make those 3 Disney worlds special and unique. Instead of trying to do like 20 Disney worlds, it doesn't make any sense. Like I think they need to flip it, on this way. This chat is hysterical to me.
I know, I can't even really. I was going to try and look at it to see if anybody's talking about what we're talking about, but it's still just stupid PC Master Race stuff. Which, I mean, honestly, just like, who cares? You either prefer one or the other for reasons that often don't have anything to do with technological, advancements. I would say if you're going console only, I'd say typically because of convenience and first-party exclusives, console exclusives, things like that, that really have nothing to do with I've got more power than you do, But then you did a follow from Alzremi?
Alzremi?
I don't know. How would you say that?
I can't even see your alerts anymore, so it's
no,
fine.
100 XP to Alzremi? I'm not sure. I went for it, guys. Next up on the console master race, Hyrule Warrior, Age of Calamity has been announced. There was another Hyrule Warriors as well, right? I didn't take part in that at all. But this one, new, I guess you could say, game in the series, will be developed by Koei Tecmo. Looks to be a successor of sorts to the original Hyrule Warriors from 2014. That game combined the massive battles of Dynasty Warriors with the lore and history of Zelda. The new game is set 100 years after before Breath of the Wild, where players can experience the great calamity that influenced the events of Breath of the Wild. You can get a brief glimpse of the action in the video we have on screen right now. Age of Calamity will launch on November 20th, so this year.
Damn.
Nintendo loves to do that. They love to just announce the games. Like,
They
this
do
coming
do
out in
that.
3 months. That's pretty awesome. I will say I'm almost like interested because I loved Breath of the Wild, and I'd like to get more of the lore. But maybe I'll just do a
It's
Wikipedia.
actually, I know,
review
I'm
of
actually
this.
agreeing with you because I really didn't care. Breath of the Wild was enough to where for me for a Zelda title, I was like, I could go back and do this. And the fact that I haven't played a Dynasty Warrior game like in a long time, I was like, you know what? This might be the game I jump back on with that. This looks fun. Does it have co-op? If it has co-op, then we gotta do that. Let's pay our like $5 for Switch Online for like a month.
Right. Let me say, avoid. I mean, I don't want to get rid of you, but you're just nothing but negativity right now. So if you don't start taking it easy, we're just gonna have to get rid of you. So up to you. If you don't want to stick around, that's totally fine. But honestly, we don't really like chat to just be nothing but negativity. We like to keep this chat mostly positive. So nothing wrong with a friendly debate. Nothing wrong with a friendly debate. I will say we of course love to debate, even on this show here. But if it becomes just trolling, which is honestly what it feels like right now from you, then we're gonna get rid of you. All right. Anyway, continuing on with Breath of the Wild.
Ooh. I got this.
This is actually unfortunate news. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Breath of the Wild fans will have to wait a while for new info on the sequel. Ikai Anomoya, I'm sorry. Pardon me.
I think it's Aki. I'm not sure though.
Aki? I need to go back and redo my Japanese again.
We used to have a problem with this constantly. This was infamous. The Level Up show is infamous for mispronouncing Japanese developers' names.
I hate it, and I'm sorry. We mentioned that in June 2019 Nintendo Direct presentation that we had started development on the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Many people around the world were still playing Breath of the Wild. It's like a thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Everyone, thank you so much. Regarding the sequel, in order to make the vast world you enjoyed exploring in the original game even more impressive, the team is working hard on its development, so you have to wait a little bit longer before we can provide more updates.
What does that mean? What does a little bit longer mean?
Mike,
I'll let you handle it. Go ahead.
Go for it, Mike. Do it. Do it, Mike.
It's your choice. It's your choice. Whatever you want.
Striking down.
So what do you think? Hey, he's gone. It's done. Banhammer has been utilized. What do you think? When is this game coming out?
I kind of want to say 2020, late 2022, early 2023. I think we're still going to get, there's still going to be a decent amount of dev time, I think. Because like the original, I guess, incubation of the project was they wanted to do another expansion pack, but then the team had so many ideas that they're like, we can't make this another expansion pack for Breath of the Wild. And plus, I think with how culturally Breath of the Wild has been like, a phenomenon, I think the team feels that pressure. And I think they're taking that pressure seriously. And
I was happy to find out that the world in this game is going to still be reminiscent of Breath of the Wild. I was worried that they were going to go underground and it was going to feel a little bit more classic. And I had no problem with that in general because Zelda, I think what's great about Zelda is it can evolve and change and go back to the roots here and there. But Breath of the Wild, if you're doing a Breath of the Wild sequel, I think it does need to hold on to what made Breath of the Wild so special, and that was the structure of the world, in my opinion. So I'm glad to find out that that was the case.
And I think there's plenty of room for expansion for them to where I think they could still do underground. I mean, think about how crazy that would be now. Instead of climbing a mountain, you find that cave. And instead of that cave just only going a couple feet back, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, there's like a mushroom or some mines here. You all of a sudden are going down this labyrinth, and like you're like, oh, holy shit, there's a temple down here. Like, if the sense of discovery that what a lot of people hook on with Breath of the Wild is actually even like tripled or quadrupled, that's a big thing. And I also think they need to do some more underwater stuff. Like, where the ocean gets some 100%. Exploration. I think that's one thing that will be actually kind of cool. And then plus with the islands being broken up, like, with the rock and everything like that floating and everything like that. You now have this aerial traversal. I think that's definitely, think about it, you're doing land, ground, you're doing land, underground, and sea. There's a lot there if you're going to still stay within that whole physics-based sandbox. To really tune,
100%. Yeah, I think water is probably something they wanted to incorporate into the first game. I would bet you. It's just, they probably had some restriction. That game was already so massive. They probably, maybe even knew that they would do a sequel. It's like, we got to save some cool stuff in developments and expansions of the world for the sequel.
That was actually the big thing they talked about with their expansion packs. They were like, they wanted to do expansion packs 3 and 4, but the team, I guess, had so many ideas that they were like, there's no point in making these just expansion packs. Let's do a new game. Let's continue on, which I think is actually kind of a big deal in a way. Because, I mean, I think we had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask as, like, direct sequels. And that's been, like, the only actual, like, direct sequels for these games, right?
Yeah.
I think. So the fact that they're going literally Breath of the Wild 2 is kind of a big deal, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Very excited. Thank you so much to Rock for the 500 biddies. Appreciate you. Don't forget, guys, we're working our way towards after show. Unfortunately, only tips go towards that goal. But if you guys do want to turn it into an hour of after show, we're on our way. We already got it 30 minutes
on
of
our
after
way.
show. Next up, a gold PS5, as you guys might know, was revealed, and pre-orders opened up this week. What's actually interesting, though, more interesting about this than anything else, in my opinion, are the prices on this PS5 gold. It's actually plated in 24 karat gold.
That's ridiculous.
All of the prices in all the different denominations, whatever, all of them are like at around 8,000 have a $100 or 100 currency exactly difference between the digital and the physical edition. Do we think that means anything, Vince?
I mean, I think it means that, you know, we're right in our theory about $100 difference in between the digital edition and disc version. But it's also funny, why on these versions? Like, why? The target demographic you're going for doesn't care about. What do you think?
I think I just got scared the shit out of.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Son of a bitch.
Now,
That one got me good. That one got me real good.
I'm gonna get you that heart rate monitor now. We just need to see that spike up.
That would be actually, that's a good point. That would be great. I would love to see how high my heart rate skyrocketed during these scare tips. That's a great choice. I knew somebody was going to bring up the stretch goal. I know what the stretch goal was. I talked to Vince before the stream started. It was 516 was what it was at. I modified it just so we could do the after show thing. But I will add on what was tipped tonight to the original stretch goal. Don't worry, guys. I will add the 4866 to the 51633. That was the original value towards the stretch goal. But yes, I hope that it does mean that there's a $100 difference between the two. Thank you so much, Rock, for the 1666. We're now even closer. We are just $11.
I will not make out with you.
Oh,
that doesn't count.
Should it count though? In a way,
it should. Oh, that's why he did it. Oh my God! I think you might be the first one, Duroc. Hold on a second. Pause.
God, Duroc.
I think you are the first person to ever have a 50K bits badge. That is the first time, I believe. Thank you so much, Duroc. Man. Congratulations, first person to ever do it. 50K bits badge on the channel.
GG, Duroc.
GG's.
Everyone give Duroc GG's right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Amazing. You're amazing. We'll give you some big wheel spins in a little bit here, but let's close off this rapid fire. News roundup. EA removed the in-game ads from UFC 4 after some online outrage. Do you think this outrage was deserved?
I think it was a little bit. Judging from what I saw, like it felt so out of place.
Yeah. And
the other thing too that I think what sucks is like, again, I'm not opposed to developers doing this, as long as someone who's buying your $60 or $80 or $90 or $100 product, that you know you're giving something back to someone who's watching an advertisement, like whether that's like, you know, a small little section of the premium currency or something like that, like. That's the thing. Like, it's like that's how simple it is. Like you say, oh yeah, if you watch ads though, you get 10 UFC credits. I don't think the backlash would instantly die down a little bit because the people are like, oh shit, okay, well that means I get something for doing this, you know?
Yeah, it's
a tough
slippery
situation.
slope. It's a slippery slope, right? Because if you start doing that, then it's like this thing pops up on screen. It's like, if you watch this ad, we'll give you 10 UFC credits. Choose yes or no, and then you have to like engage in it as well.
Well, no, because did you see what it was? Like what they were doing? It would be like whenever like there'd be like a cut in the replay, it would be like that Amazon's The Boys would be like a splash thing that you saw. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. But like if you're throwing that to players, like just again, it's a passive ad. Would just pay me and like even a small divot of currency for that, just because like that's what you're doing. You're advertising. You've clearly had a contract with someone to advertise in your game to get to your advertiser. But like, it's again, I bought the product. It's the same stuff that happens with like people who like buy digital TV shows like on Google. And sometimes like AMC is really bad for this, or FX actually is really bad on this. To like they'll actually have FX like commercials before you watch your digital content. It's really bizarre.
Sorry,
So I don't know.
Baby monitor real quick. Yeah, I'm with you there. I think the outrage was deserved myself. I don't think it was like the most egregious example of this that I've ever seen.
No.
But it just takes you out of it. I don't get why they even thought it would pass. Of course, people are gonna flip out, especially when it's EA. Everybody takes any opportunity to shit on EA. So.
And it was added after the fact too, like after reviews, after that.
Exactly.
It's like, that's just shitty. Like if you put it in the review sections, then no one cares. Like, well, people care, but people know. Again, it's stupid.
I agree. Moving on from that, Apple doesn't want to let Epic reapply for the developer program for at least a year. Z-Huge tweeted out this. He said Apple has said it will not let Epic Games reapply to the Apple developer program for at least a year. Epic Games did file a preliminary injunction last week to overturn this ban. Assuming no changes, it's unlikely Fortnite returns to iOS before August of 2021. Do you think Tim Sweeney is starting to regret his words and deeds?
I mean, yes, but no. But yes, but no. It's weird to me because, like, again, we had the discussion last time because it's been a month now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, it's been that long. I don't know. The whole situation stinks. Like, it's awful all around. Tim's doing it for the worst reasons while hiding behind the best of intentions. But at the same time, I fucking hate Apple with a passion, especially with this entire approach that they're doing. It's just, in the end, I wish Epic Games had a more stronger case against this, and I don't know.
I also wish it was somebody else doing it. But at the same time, it kind of has to be somebody as big as Epic for Apple's hand to be forced in any way. But as we're seeing, at least the way it appears, even Epic is not big enough to affect Apple in any way. I mean, they're just, honestly, they're just like going after their corpse at this point. It's just...
Yeah. But the thing that sucks too, I think what really kills me is all of the, like, the cheering on that everyone's like, yeah, Epic deserves this, because it's like, I just hate time exclusives on their store. It's like,
yeah,
the most it's the most asinine thing. Like, there needs to be an actual serious discussion about this 30% cut. Like, when it's Sony and Microsoft doing it, that makes sense to me because those are gaming consoles. They're gaming only. I get that. That's a thing to me. Yep. Is it too high? Probably. But when it's Apple and you're going to say 30% off everything, I'm sorry. Like, you need to change that up a little bit, especially whenever you're going to sit there and say, Spotify, you need to give us 30% of your subscriptions bought in app. But hey, we'll have our own competing service because that's just what we do. So essentially you're funding our competing service. So fuck you. Like, that's what I hate.
Yeah.
So
I get it. Totally get it. Moving on from that, NVIDIA has bought ARM for $40 billion with a B dollars.
$40 million. That's not a lot of money. Well, what do we use now? Billions.
$40 billion. What does this mean? Because honestly, I don't really know. What does this mean for NVIDIA and the future?
So here's my thing. I'm an idiot when it comes to this. I've only really been following the story, so I can kind of only understand kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
The big thing is their ARM fabricates processors. And essentially, it's what like the PS4 and the Xbox One have an ARM processor in them for like their video encoding and whatnot. Right now, phones do this a lot of times too. The big thing of like where this shakeup is going to happen is like, NVIDIA makes GPUs, right? This means NVIDIA can now make CPUs if they wanted to, or APUs. And this puts us on more of an equal footing CPU space with like AMD, and it also pretty much puts the squeeze on Intel really badly because Intel's been having a lot of fabrication issues and everything like that. Plus with AMD firing all the cylinders, it's a bad thing. And see, Intel just lost the Apple contract because Apple's going to go develop their own ARM things. But in the other bigger grand scheme of things, the other bigger grand scheme of things too is since they bought ARM, this is where a lot of the like the sky is falling type paranoia is coming from. Is ARM is a licensed out thing. Like SoftBank licensed out ARM technologies for other various co-processors and whatnot. So like now the thing too is with NVIDIA having this, they could sit there with the contracts and go, yeah, no, fuck you. You're gonna buy straight from us. You know, like that's the big thing. So it's just like it's interesting. Like I said, I'm not really knowledgeable here on this one. Like this is more me passively reading, going, oh shit. Like it's enough to where I know that like this is a big thing, but we just kind of don't know where things are going. I mean, it could be an NVIDIA phone. It could be, guess what? You might have a NVIDIA CPU that you buy now, whatever they want to call it. Like, you know, the Quadro CPU line that you now get your CPU and your GPU all from NVIDIA. That's your whole big thing. You have a synergy there with the brand. The PS6 and Xbox Series X2 could all have NVIDIA-based APUs instead of AMD. Like, that's the big deal there.
Gotcha. Okay. Very interesting. That's a big deal. Very big deal.
Yeah, it's a very big deal.
Got one more story that Vince added on at the end here, so why don't you take it, Vince?
Yeah, just a little quick update, considering that we were talking about Cyberpunk 2077, and I thought in case no one saw this, it'd be a good thing for everyone to know. So Witcher 3 will actually get next-gen updates. A visually and technically enhanced version of the game will be available for purchase on PC and next-gen consoles, and as a free update for owners of the game on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. Developed to take advantage of the most powerful gaming hardware. Right? Most powerful gaming hardware? That's interesting. The next-gen edition of the game will feature a range of visual and technical improvements, including ray tracing and faster load times across the base game, both expansions, and all extra content. Like I said, I guess I must have copied that second settings again, so never mind. So yeah, it's a free update. It's going to come out, I think, sometime next year. And I think that's an amazing thing. Like, even for me, I have a version of on PS4 and PC. It's like I get an upgrade on both versions. That's amazing.
I'll definitely reinstall it just to check out what it looks like. I'm not saying I'm going to go through it again, but I would love to see what The Witcher 3 looks like on PS5 with a next-gen update.
I would definitely probably do like a intro and White Orchard run before I get to the main map and just kind of like be like, okay, cool, yeah, this looks good. I like this.
Yeah,
and go from there.
I would like to see what Toussaint looks like.
Ooh, I mean, they did update those graphics a little bit. I mean, the only thing I think I actually would really, truly play through again would be Hearts of Stone, though. Because that was an amazing
I agree.
Oh,
I agree. I like that one more than Blood and Wine. I
told you that. I said you're going to like Heart of Stone more than Blood and Wine. It's like Blood and Wine's a fantastic expansion, but Heart of Stone is your jam, dude. I
thought the story in Heart of Stone was really cool.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Blood and Wine was great too with Gaunter Odin or Dim. I can't remember how you pronounce it, but that was great too. Don't get me wrong, because that was Blood and Wine, right? Gaunter Odin was Blood and Wine.
No, Heart and Stone was Gaunter Odin.
Oh, then never mind. Forget it. Oh, Blood and Wine was just all the vampires, right?
You like the vampires?
No, that's what I'm saying. I now even more so. Heart of Stone is much better. I remembered I liked Heart of Stone more, but I remembered the character.
Because you meet him in White Orchard at the very start of the game, and you're like, "Who the hell is this dude?" Then he comes back to haunt you. It's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember the guy that you're helping out. What his name was.
His name?
But yeah, that's what I was focused on. I was trying to remember how Gaunter Dim was involved, and if that was Heart of Stone or Blood and Wine. But yes, Heart of Stone, Gaunter Dim, that was all amazing. Blood and Wine was purely just a vampire thing, which was cool and all. Don't get me wrong. And Toussaint was beautiful. But yes, I really liked the story of Heart of Stone. That was
Blood and Wine was really cool to play that one quest that was their CG trailer. That was really good. The Lady of the Night, that was a really good addition there. I was like, that's cool. I love this.
Fantastic. Guys. That is the show. Let's do a couple of wheel spins here to celebrate all the support tonight. Duroc coming in with over 1,500 biddies after all was said and done.
Duroc.
So let's spin 3 times for him, and then 3 times again for his 1666. So we get 95. I'm doing math again here. 95 plus 60, 155 plus 60. That's what, 215? Or sorry, 205? No, 215. I was right. 215 plus 65. That's 280. 2 more. 280 plus 60, that's 340. And finally, bonus XP. We're going to do 340 and bonus XP for the rest of the stream.
Oh, shit. Really?
What's up?
Ghost of Tsushima Legends. Art book came out, has a new detail. Exaggerated world of Japan, enemies and landscape, new enemy types, new bosses, and then teases the multiplayer menus.
Nice.
Oh shit! Wow.
We're gonna maybe take a look at that during the after show. Take a look at
it's
the
on
images and whatnot.
Resetera.
Perfect. But that is the end of the Level Up show. Thank you so much to everybody for being here tonight. Thank you so much for all the support. We had 24 subs. We had 3 follows. We had almost 2,000 biddies. We had almost $50 in tips. We're less than $12 away from full hour of after show. We're like 500 biddies away from daily cheer goal, 2 follows away from daily follow goal. So we're almost hitting all our goals tonight. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to King Kurt. Thank you so much to Durak. Thank you so much to, I'm going to assume Hitman RX for 20 gifted subs under Anonymous, but I'm going to assume that was Hitman RX. I apologize to anybody that I might be offending with that if I'm incorrect, but I'm going to assume it was Hitman RX. You guys are amazing. Appreciate every single one of you. We also had follows as well from Bad, also Raimi, and RE4 fan. You guys are fantastic. We need 2 more follows to hit our goal. So if anybody here is backing out, not staying a part of after show, now is your last chance. Hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get those alerts whenever I go live Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesdays
There it is. Drew, I'm sorry, buddy.
You got me. You got me again.
Quick, check your pulse.
Got me again!
Check your pulse. We need to know.
I need a clip of what's their name from Arrested Development going, he got me again! That's what I need for Durak. Just for you, Durak. We're having to do that in the after show, I think. Thank you so much. There we go. We're doing a full hour of after show tonight, guys. Courtesy of Durak. That I think that, yeah, we already hit our daily tip goal, so we don't have to worry about that. But as I was saying, follow for notifications. Wednesdays, Variety Gaming. And Sundays, usually Variety Gaming, but we do have talk shows like this one, the Level Up Show. We're heading towards episode 300. In the next month or 2, you will see that happen. We're going to have a very big episode 300 episode. We've got some huge announcements for you guys. So definitely make sure to be a part of that episode, to be in the chat for those announcements when they happen. You want to be here for that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You're square. I don't know if that's negative
essentially
or not.
a celebration of 7 years of this show. We started this on December 1st of 2013. So it's just about 7 years of the Level Up Show that we'll be celebrating with episode 300. Absolutely amazing. Get on our Discord as well, guys. We're trying really hard to hold on to partnership on our Discord. Unfortunately, Discord did change the way it works. And if you don't hold on to certain criteria, people joining, chatting, all that, you lose your partnership. So we're trying to get new people in there. Get on our Discord, discord.gg/The Level Up Network. Share our Discord with other like-minded gaming individuals so we can, flood it with new interactions and hold on to that partnership. And lastly, do not forget to give Agent Vincent 4756 that follow here on Twitch. He's joining us tonight, and he's also a streamer. He's on even more than I am. So make sure to go to Agent Vincent 4756 right there. He's doing Marvel's Avengers right now. He's going to go into the more games as a service type stuff since he's finished a single player campaign. So check out his channel, hit that follow button, see what he's all about. Support those that support us.
We chill out a lot.
We talk out a lot. We really do. We really do. All right, guys, do not go anywhere. Even though the Level Up Show is wrapping up and we're going to do our credits here, stick around because right after that, we're coming back with a full hour of after show. Thank you so much once again. You guys are all amazing. We will see you throughout the week, specifically Wednesday, with a live reaction. Vince, you're welcome to join me if you can.
I am going to try my best to be there, man.
Okay, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll probably go live about 15 minutes before that for the live reaction to PlayStation's, I think they're calling it PS5 Game Showcase, if I remember right. That's what they're calling it.
I think they are. They're just calling it the Game Showcase, which is interesting.
Yeah. So if you want to be a part of that live reaction, definitely hit that follow button and come back on Wednesday. For that, Wednesday night, I'll be doing Variety Gaming. Sundays with, next week will be more gaming. The Level Up Show next week. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you throughout the week with gaming talk shows and game streams. Until next time, take care. And as always, don't forget to level
up.